Later at the cave, Sejun expands his farm by planting cherry tomatoes and corn on the field, as he again places all the leaves on the ground, hoping they should be safe from the thieves as the crimson grizzly bear is guarding the area. While he's doing the work on the farm, he notices that the white young bunny has run out of water in the sprinkler can. Thinking that the sprinkler can never run out of water, the black bunny rushes towards our guy, trying to tell him something. The black bunny indicates that something is wrong with the pond. They go inside the cave and witness plenty of crayfish in the pond water. Shocked by the sight, Sejun utters if they made it through the piranha hole. Wondering what kind of ecosystem is in there, he commands the black bunny to hunt the crayfish. Drooling over the delicious crayfish, Sejun gets reminded that people on the internet love the taste of the crayfish. The black bunny pulls out his hammer as our fella makes it clear they cannot miss out on the main source of protein. Revealing that they taste better than they look, Sejun takes his dagger out and the black bunny gets ready with his hammer to begin the crayfish hunting. As the crayfish hunting begins, our guy stands inside the ponds killing the crayfish with his dagger, while the black bunny smashes them all at once with his iconic hammer. Killing as many crayfish as they can, they are then collected by the bunnies who carry them in the wheelbarrow. While the sickle bunny tries hard to cut through the shell of the crayfish, Sejun lets out that their shell is very hard, so it needs to be boiled first. They wrap the crayfish into green onions and leave them to cook in the campfire. As the delicious smell of the crayfish shell starts to take over the cave, our guy checks the crayfish. As he opens up the wrap, steaming hot grilled crayfish are cooked to perfection, with corn and tomatoes, while the ocean water adds flavor to the tender meat. Giving bunnies a tutorial on how to eat a crayfish, he busts the head and breaks it into pieces to share with the bunnies. As soon as they grab a bite, they are mesmerized by the delicious meat of the crayfish, and Sejun concludes that they don't even need seasonings because it has their saltiness that gives a subtle flavor that makes them irresistible. Meanwhile, the bunnies munch on the meat. He tells the bunnies not to throw the liquid inside the crayfish, which seems to be intestines, telling them that it's the best part. He dips the meat into the green sauce, which rejoices his taste buds with savory flavor, making him crave for soju. Curious, the black bunny sniffs the intestines liquid inside the crayfish, dipping his hands to taste it. The moment Black Bunny licks it, he falls in love with it, making his eyes sparkle with the savory flavor. While the Black Bunny drinks the whole thing inside it, our guy cracks open more crayfish for the bunnies to eat. After a while, Bae gets yanked by the delicious smell of the crayfish as he peeks inside the cave, and Sejun fetches some crayfish for him, hoping that he doesn't fall again. Instructing the baby bear how to eat the crayfish, Bae puts the whole thing in his mouth and is delighted by the scrumptious food. Watching him eat the whole crayfish, Sejun reckons that it works too because the shells are packed with nutrients. The next scene takes us to the outskirts of the second floor of the dungeon, where we witness a group of hunters killing the skeleton monsters. It seems like there are plenty of skeleton monsters as the hunters keep killing them. In the meantime, Vice President Michael McLaren arrives at the scene, and one of the hunters who is charged for clearing out monsters near the area of the farmland reports to the president that the hunters have wiped out half of the monsters from the skeleton village and the new mercenaries have joined as well. As Michael inquires about the number of days it would take to clear up the area, the hunter discloses that it will take a few months as they have to consider the size of the territory and the level of new mercenaries. Reckoning that only half of the area has been cleared out, McLaren gives a list of new awakens on a permanent record, adding that those people were awakened in return for paying their high-interest loans, so they won't be leaving the dungeon. The president gives the hunter an ultimatum of a week to wipe out the area near the farmland and walks toward the farmland where his people had grown the cherry tomatoes. The chemist who has been inspecting the cherry tomatoes farm in the dungeon informs McLaren about the cherry tomatoes that have ripened and asks him to try some. Assuming that his dream finally came true, he plucks out cherry tomatoes and finds out that they're not items as he expected. As he tosses the cherry tomato in his mouth to taste it, he is disgusted by the tasteless flavor of the fruit, spitting it out instantly. Interrogating what went wrong with the tomatoes, McLaren reveals that these fruits taste like nothing. The chemist tastes the cherry tomatoes, and she is also shocked after tasting how bland the tomato is, and speculates that it's impossible because they used every high-quality fertilizer they could get. As the other chemist checks her tablet, she finds out these cherry tomatoes are below standard in every nutrient, low quality, and not commercially viable. Upon hearing this, the president frantically starts smashing his feet on the cherry tomato field out of anger. As he smashes one of the cherry tomatoes, he finds out there's no seed inside them. The next scene takes us to the 90th floor of the dungeon, where Sejun is sleeping peacefully in the cave. While the Minotaur, who is sent back to find the source of the leaves, catches a glimpse of the leaves lying on the ground and starts eating them. It seems like the Minotaur had raided Sejun's field again, breaking in to steal the leaves as he sleeps unaware. The next scene switches to President McLaren, who is baffled by the cherry tomatoes with no seeds in them, asserting that they cannot grow crops without seeds and not even modify them. Figuring out how it may happen, He narrates the story of himself 10 years before the towers appeared, and he luckily entered the tower by vanishing. Witnessing the vast and fertile land of the tower, he had a great vision as a young and ambitious boy. As the land of the dungeon acquired rich soil and endless sunlight, he thought of growing crops there, manifesting to dominate the global food market. To make it happen, he left the tower after clearing up a few levels and convinced his father. As everything seemed to be going his way, the dungeon farming project began as they had all the things needed, including seed and fertilizers. However, a problem arose when he saw that no one of the seeds germinated. Knowing that his father's company had invested a massive amount of money in hundreds of different seeds and optimized the tower's environment, it turns out that scientists had discovered that Awakened lost their reproductive abilities after entering the tower, revealing that it's a temporary side effect to make their body adjust to the magic, adding that most Awakens recovered their reproductive abilities once they reached level 10. But the news gets even more shocking when he gets to know that infertility affects the plants as well, and there's no possible way to boost seed levels from the outside. Knowing that the tower sells crops and food like in the real world, he discovers a way to find plants native to the tower. Unfortunately, he finds no luck with the peddlers who refuse to sell him the seeds, letting out that a greedy landlord greed on the 55th floor controls the sales. Clearing the 10th level at that time, he had lost everything he dreamed of. He lost all the money and made fools out of himself in front of his father and the board of directors. This obstacle in his dungeon farm project led to a massive failure. After narrating his sobbing story, McLaren does not give up on his project and commands his people to bring the hunters to the 38th floor. Holding a bag full of dungeon coins, he makes it clear that he wants them to find the peddler cat and bring all the cat's level D magic cherry tomatoes, no matter how much he has to spend. Grasping a cherry tomato, McLaren gives it a thought and reckons if they could not grow level E tomatoes, level D tomatoes might grow well, and a higher level might yield different results. Squeezing the tomato as it drips on his hands, he seems determined to take control of the cherry tomatoes with an evil grin on his face. Later, Teo returns to the cave and witnesses some of the leaves lying on the ground. As he picks it up, he realizes that they are Sejun's green onion leaves. Picking up the leaves that are lying along the way, the cat bumps into a minotaur who is chewing on the green onion leaves. The minotaur asks him if he's a peddler, but Teo, who is concerned about Sejun's leaves, interrogates him about where he found those leaves. The minotaur asserts that he picked up the leaves that were left on the ground, on which the cat freaks out and quarrels with him that Sejun never abandons his leaves, he is rather particular about them, explaining to the cow that he makes bowls and ropes out of the leaves and even wipes his butt with them. While Teo accuses the minotaur of stealing Sejun's precious leaves, the minotaur gets furious as he hurts his pride as a warrior and gets mad at Teo for accusing him of stealing someone else's leaves when he's a warrior. The minotaur rages with anger when he's insulted by the peddler, but terrified Teo stands his ground and tells the warrior that he's lying. To clear up the confusion, the cat decides to ask Sejun to settle this once and for all, and the minotaur agrees. As Teo leads the way, the minotaur presumes that the guy Sejun certainly got rid of the leaves, asking why anyone would lay such delicious leaves on the ground. The cat hysterically wakes up Sejun and informs him that he has caught the thief who ate his leaves. Surprised, Sejun leaps out of the cave through the rope and witnesses a huge cow which scares the hell out of him. Telling him to teach the minotaur a lesson, as Teo exposes the minotaur for stealing Sejun's leaves, our guy notices the leaves he had laid on the fields are gone. The minotaur tries to explain to himself that he just picked up fallen leaves on the ground, and asks Sejun why he would abandon them if he was using them. Our fellow recognizes that the black minotaur is the same monster that the crimson grizzly bear told him about, and he was the one who destroyed the field during the blue moon and stole the corn leaves he covered his field with. It seems like Teo had caught the minotaur stealing his green onion leaves again. The minotaur justifies himself by telling them that he's a warrior of honor who would never take what he didn't earn. But Teo seems quite pissed off and makes it clear that the leaves are not trash and that the ox is a thief. While all this happens, Sejun presumes that the monster is an ox that can dig or plow, and clarifies to the minotaur that those leaves lying on the ground were not trash, but serving an important purpose, which was to prevent moisture in the soil from evaporating. The ox feels ashamed for stealing the leaves, explaining that he didn't know, but our fella does let it slide easily when he requests the minotaur for 100 dungeon coins for destroying his farmland and stealing his leaves. It seems like Sejun has yet to trick the ox into working with him, ready to make him a slave or maybe a partner. As our fellow requests a hefty payment, the minotaur is shocked to hear such a big price just for eating leaves, as he never thought that leaves would be so expensive. Realizing that stealing is no fun, Sejun asks for payment. However, as Teo climbs up the huge minotaur and inspects him, finding out that he has no money. Perfectly played, our guy makes a deal with the minotaur, offering him to pay back his labor. While both Teo and the cox are confused, our boy makes him understand that he has to travel here every day and work for him at the farm, adding that each day he works will be worth 1 dungeon coin, which means that the Minotaur will soon be able to pay back his debt in the next 100 days. Asking if he has to pay back by working, our fella mutters that he will provide lunch as well, and the Minotaur can have as many green onions as he likes. Thrilled by the offer, the ox agrees to the deal immediately, telling him that he will do anything if he feeds him. As Teo watches Sejun settling down on a great deal with the Minotaur, he is amazed by President Sejun's new lesson, which also seems to be some kind of haggling, and how he asks the Minotaur to pay back with labor if he doesn't have money. It seems like Theo is inspired by President Sejun's cunning idea. After they wave the cocks goodbye, the clever guy praises the peddler cat for his great work in finding the thief and helping him get a worker for the field. As the cat asks for his reward, Mr. President makes him CEO for another month. Dissatisfied, Teo clings to his legs and asks for a generous reward while he ruins Sejun's pants. The next day, the crayfish hunt begins once again, as the pro hunter Sejun and the black warrior bunny flaunt their incredible fishing skills. The black bunny makes a fierce attack, striking the crayfish with his hammer and great strength. Assuming that the hunting should be enough for Bay and his mom, the young bunnies carry the killed crayfish and pile them up. While our guy compliments the warrior bunny for honing skills every day, the black bunny starts shining, and it seems like his item has changed into a different and exceptional kind of hammer. As everyone applauds him for his terrific reward, Sejun mutters that it's not a usual promotion, but a second awakening, and the black bunny stands with pride, feeling proud of his achievements. Watching the incredible strength of the warrior bunny, our boy gives him full charge of crayfish hunting. In the meantime, the mama bear appears above the cave, and as Sejun comes out of the cave, he witnesses something over the big pulley rock. The baby bear points towards the beehive that is hung by the big rock. As our guy peeks at the beehive, wondering how long it has been up there, a bee flies out from the beehive. Recognizing that it's the junior queen poisonous honeybee who hatched last time, they clasp into a cute little greeting hug. Speculating where she had been this whole time, as he was worried about her, Sejun didn't even get to see her hatched, and she even registered him as her owner. Eventually, the baby poisonous honeybees emerge from the hive, and our guy realizes that the queen bee must have left to start a colony, and feels happy for her safe return. After that, he introduces the queen bee to the cub, and assigns him to take care of the beehive so that the bee can make a lot of delicious honey for him. Joined by the mama bear, the bees get along with the baby bear, and in that moment, the Minotaur arrives at the field, ready to begin his first day at work. However, the mama bear frantically starts roaring at the Minotaur, as she assumes that it's the monster who barged into their territory and thinks it's an enemy. The Minotaur, who wasn't expecting to run into the crimson grizzly bear, clenches his fists and prepares for the fight. Baffled by the sudden uproar, our guy tries his best to stop the mama bear, but she seems to be in her fight mode and stomps forward. Disturbed by the noises, Teo and the bunnies peek from the cave to see what's all the ruckus about. Sejun carries Teo on his shoulder and asks him for his help to stop the fight, or the Minotaur and the bear will get hurt if they start the fight. Yelling to make the fight stop, our guy tries to make the bear understand that the Minotaur is here to work, and he's not the enemy. Teo interprets the mama bear, who warns them to go inside the cave, and she is not backing out without a fight as she can't tolerate the Minotaur trespassing on her territory. As Sejun tries to halt the Minotaur from attacking, the ox refuses to leave the battlefield, as it is a disgrace for a warrior. Meanwhile, this uproar gets more chaotic when Teo keeps yelling at Bae, who keeps asking for his kitty treats, and our guy feels helpless by the situation. At that moment, long-lost admin Aileen appears and asks for a snack to fulfill her cravings, but she gets strongly refused by her farmer, who informs her about the fight that is about to begin between the Minotaur and the bear. Upon listening, the admin immediately asks for an explanation for what the Minotaur is doing here, and instructs Sejun to make them go back because she is hungry. Sejun yells at the selfish admin, telling her that he has tried to stop the fight but no one is listening. The situation in the field causes mayhem when Sejun, who seems to have enough of his fuss, screams his heart out as he speaks that if they don't stop fighting right now, none of them will get to eat today. Uttering these words in his mouth, all the animals are shocked by the jaw-dropping announcement made by Sejun. The bunnies are left astonished, and Teo is traumatized. Furious, our guy commands the Minotaur and the crimson grizzly bear to settle down, and it seems like Aileen has been taking Sejun's commands seriously, as well as she also sits down. He proceeds to scold them that if the two of them start a fight here, it will destroy the crops, and it could hurt others around them. Planning to clear up the misunderstanding over a shared meal, our guy calls upon the bunnies to get ready for lunch. The young chef bunnies get to back work, while the warrior bunny hunts down for the meat, the sickle bunny chops all the vegetables, one of the farmer bunnies grills the corn, and the wagon bunny gathers all the cooked corn into his wheelbarrow. On the other hand, Chef Sejun cooks a meal as he tosses the pan on high flames. it seems like our guy has once again prepared a dinner feast for his fellow workers. Glancing at the parade of dishes such as grilled corn, cooked fish, and roasted green onions, the Minotaur is left in awe and the crimson grizzly bear is delighted by the delicious meal. As they all settle down to eat, our fella gives some of the grilled corn to Aileen. While they eat, the Minotaur approaches his hand to grab a corn, but the bear jerks his hand away. As the fight seems to start again, Sejun diverts their attention towards him and tells him to listen while they eat. He introduces the Minotaur to the crimson grizzly bear and her son who keeps the territory safe. As he introduces the Minotaur asking for his name, the ox reveals his name to be 1103rd Minotaur Warrior. Sejun clarifies that 1103rd warriors are here to help them with farming work, adding that if they fight, they don't get the food. Hitting their weak points, as Sejun announces no fighting or no food policy, the bear and the Minotaur decide to get along as they hold hands and make a deal to be friends to make sure they get the food. As Sejun appreciates their friendship, Teo tells him to focus on the petting as he sits on his lap. Later, the Minotaur asks him about his job in the field, and our guy explains that his job is straightforward as he continues to pat Teo. They all move towards the field. Sejun instructs him to dig up the soil as he did during the blue moon and turn over the soil by plowing the ground until lunchtime. Assuming that his job seems quite easy, and on top of that he's getting free lunch, the Minotaur gets all fired up and flaunts his real warrior power as he effortlessly plows the field, working hard for the free lunch. Delighted, watching the Minotaur do his work perfectly, our guy seems to have found an easy way to make the seed bed. While the bunnies carry the green onion plants in the wheelbarrow, Sejun instructs them to start planting the green onions, letting out that it's a hassle to run back and forth to the cave and bring the leaves. Feeling the need for a larger yield, our guy presumes that multiplying green onions is easy. All needs to be done is cut off the stems of the grown green onions and leave the roots in the soil. By the time 2 stems grow out of the base, grow the roots and plant them back. As he peeks at the roots that have grown strong, the notification pops up as they've created a 700 square feet green onion field. It seems like their green onion field is all prepared and ready. Chewing on the green onion, our guy reckons that the green onion grows fast in the dungeon. Each time a new stem grows, it needs to propagate them, and the field will multiply in no time. While all the things are going smoothly, Sejun figures out there is one concern, and that is the bunnies assigned to watering the plants are facing a problem. Their sprinkler cans have limited capacity, which limits the water supply to the crops, which will eventually lead to a problem of lack of water for the crops. Shortly, the daddy farmer bunny begins to shine, and it seems like it has transformed into a golden sprinkler can. Surprised, our guy asserts that it's the second awakening similar to the black bunny's awakening. He congratulates the farmer bunny and is delighted by the perfect timing of the sprinkler can. He asks the farmer bunny about his capacity, and gets to know that the capacity of the sprinkler has doubled. The next scene takes us to the Ox King, who's waiting for his warrior number 1103, reckoning what's taking him so long. Later at the cave, Sejun finally takes the baby bunnies out of the cave for the first time. Opening the bag pack to let the babies out, he introduces them to Bae. Sniffing the kiddos, Bae seems to love the baby bunnies as he starts licking them, and the babies love the soft fur as they climb on him. Sejun asks the big brother Bae if he can take care of the little ones. Jealous Teo watches them with a frowning face and lets out that he's the best uncle. As he tries to trick the baby bunnies into taking them on an adventure outside the cave, poor Uncle Teo gets ignored by the kiddos, as they seem to have more fun with the cub. Teo starts sobbing as the babies have forgotten about him already. He is left distraught as Sejun tells him that children grow up quickly. Banging his paws on the ground, the cat seems to be going through an emotional breakdown as he reveals that he raised them with so much love and dedication. Watching him being an emotional wreck, our guy comforts him as he tells him not to take it personally and lifts him to make him sit on his lap, offering him a treat to make him feel better. Feeling better, Sejun asks him if it's time for another auction, on which Teo lets him know that he can't go down to sell cherry tomatoes. Our guy questions him about what he's talking about, and the cat explains his traumatizing encounter with the wolves. Stunned, Sejun gets to know that a group of wolves is looking for the straw hat, and this is the reason why Teo can't go downstairs to sell the tomatoes. Our guy is lost in the thought of the straw hat, knowing that it's an effective artifact, and realizes that only farmers would utilize this hat, which leads him to think if there's another farmer on another floor of the dungeon. He assures Teo not to worry and comes up with an idea. Curious, he asks Sejun about his idea on which he plans on hiring a mercenary, who is the Minotaur, and Teo is delighted by the great idea. It is revealed to us that mercenaries are similar to peddlers who can take up the job only if they are born in the tower. The Peddlers Association and the Mercenaries Association had an agreement, and they allowed the mercenaries to use the peddler pathway by charging a fee, adding that if a non-mercenary is hired as a temporary mercenary by a peddler's request, They are given access to the pathway. Wishing that Sejun himself could go down there as a mercenary, he is unable to do so because he was not born in the tower. Complimenting his good memory, Teo doesn't seem so sure that the Minotaur would agree to work because he's a monster from the 99th floor. But it seems like our guy has it all sorted out, as he tells the cat he has an idea to make the Minotaur hire as a mercenary. He plans to cut off 3 dungeon coins of debt per day if the Minotaur agrees to guard Teo as a mercenary. Listening to his brilliant idea, the cat praises his genius brain and thinks that he will use these lessons and tricks learned from his president when the time comes. Later, the Black Minotaur sneaks away to work on Sejun's field. However, he is caught by another Minotaur who says that she hasn't seen him for 3 days. It turns out to be a Minotaur number 1104 who sneaks up on him. Peeking at his glowing complexion, the Minotaur assumes that he has been eating something without them knowing. Denying that he hasn't been eating anything, she threatens him to take her with him, or else she's going to spill everything to the captain who's already looking for him. It seems like the Minotaur had no choice but to take her with him. Leading the way, the Minotaur tells her to keep it a secret. Later in the cave, Sejun pulls out of his cave through the rope and witnesses 2 Minotaurs standing in front of him. Asking if he had bought a friend, the female Minotaur introduces herself as 1104, asking Sejun if he's the one who gives him food for plowing the field. While the Black Minotaur explains to our guy that he's in a tough spot and have to let her work here, or else he will in trouble. Our guy asserts that he doesn't plan on expanding the farm so he won't need extra help. He gives it a thought and gets reminded of a thing that he can use her help for. Our fellow reveals that he has to hire her as a mercenary, adding that he wants safety for his peddler cat who is at risk because some wolves are looking for him, and offers her 3 dungeon coins per day for the work. However, the Minotaur refuses his offer immediately, letting out that she cannot eat dungeon coins. Reconsidering the offer, our guy then decides to provide her 3 meals per day along with snacks, and she immediately gets convinced to work. Listening to this enticing offer, the black male Minotaur also seems to be interested in being a mercenary, and our quick-witted boy figures out that these oxen run on food. Thinking that it's great to have 2 of them for Teo's safety, he packs their lunch so that they can eat it along the way. Overjoyed, the female Minotaur hugs the black Minotaur out of joy, thanking him for bringing her to such a fantastic place. Feeling delighted, the male Minotaur is happy to work with her, as they seem to be affectionate. Sejun and Teo stare at them as they feel the love in the air. After that, as the green onions that seem to have grown outside of the dungeon, Sejun trims off plenty of green onions, collecting them into a pile of green onion leaves. It looks like the green onion leaves are the Minotaur's lunch for the road. Teo asks him if he can pack the green onions in the rucksack, but our guy seems unsure if his rucksack will have enough space for the tomatoes after fitting in the green onions. To his surprise, Teo flings the rucksack onto the pile of green onion leaves, sucking all of the plants inside it. He tells Sejun that his rucksack can now fit more than it used to. Teo holds his backpack and reveals that he's a CEO and an intermediate peddler now, and his rucksack capacity increased when he got promoted to another level. Shocked, Sejun does not see the difference, and asks him if his badge color has changed following his level, to which a frustrated peddler tells him how unmindful he is for not noticing his badge. Listening to Teo's ranting, our guy pulls his cheeks tightly and reminds him of the gift he has given to him for his family. With his rucksack filled with items and errands assigned by Sejun, Teo and the Minotaurs get on their way, and Sejun waves them goodbye, hoping the oxen would look after him. As Sejun and the bunnies watch them leave, he gets worried about the cat, hoping that Minotaurs won't eat him after finishing the leaves. The next scene takes us to the peddler's village, which seems to be a residential area for peddlers. As the place seems to be filled with peddlers, the silver wolves seem to be there too. Bringing food for themselves, Elka, the clan leader of the wolves, asks his member Elki about the money they've left with, and they seem to run out of money. Elko, who seems exhausted, asks the leader how long they have to stay here, muttering that it's tiring to be in the village, glancing at everyone passing by, and asking him to go back to the 85th floor. Upon hearing, the leader frantically grabs Elko, bursting with fury. He reminds him of their fellow wolves who have been waiting for them, and if they fail to complete their mission, they will not get any food from Greed the landowner, adding that their tribe's survival is on the line. Crying, Elko apologizes to him for being careless, and Elki tells him to eat and cheer up, comforting him by giving him food they bought with the money they raised for the tribe. Suddenly, something catches Elka's eye, and it seems like he has seen Teo the peddler cat entering the village. Determined, the wolf decides to find out more about the straw hat this time, and he must do it for his tribe. Later, in the peddler's village, all the peddlers are astounded to see the black minotaurs, as they never see the monsters from the 99th floor around this area. As the peddlers wish to meet whoever managed to hire the minotaurs as mercenaries, asserting they must be great peddlers, Teo arrives at the scene and reveals that he's the one who hired them mercenaries. Looking at the tiny peddler cat, The other peddlers don't seem to believe, mumbling they've never heard of his name before and Teo to stop lying. Teo calls upon the Minotaurs to prove everyone wrong. He looks behind him, and both of the Minotaurs seem to have left him and gone somewhere. It turns out that cabbages have grabbed their attention as they look delicious. The little shopkeeper, who's a tiny hamster, trembles with fear as he peeks at the huge Minotaurs, pleading to spare his life. In the meantime, Teo comes looking for them, reminding them that they're here to protect him. The Minotaurs apologize to him and let out that they got distracted by all the cool things. Grasping the situation, he finds out that it's their first time in the Pathway Village, and they never left the 99th floor before. Speculating about why it's called the Peddler Pathway, the Minotaur thought that this pathway was for everyone born in the towers, and not just limited to peddlers. Upon hearing, the cat realizes these oxen have been secluded on the 99th floor of the dungeon, and decides to walk them through the basic info as the intermediate peddler has quite the knowledge about the pathway. Teo unfolds and narrates that a long time ago the paths between floor 1 and the 90th floor extended like twisted branches, and these numerous pathways made it difficult to identify which pathways were the safe ones. And so one of the first great peddlers formed the Peddlers Association and organized the pathways systemically, shutting down all the dangerous paths and maintaining the safe ones. Later, the Mercenaries Association, who were leading forces of the Tower and the Magic Tower, joined this agreement and agreed to support pathway maintenance by providing resources. Additionally, the pathway managers from the Peddlers Association control and manage the pathway, hence calling it the Peddler Pathway. Getting to know the fascinating story behind the pathway, the Minotaurs are amazed and praised Teo for his great knowledge. Feeling honored, he recalls reading all of this in one of the guidebooks for the rookie peddlers, and feels glad that he read it as he puts on a sneaky grin. Revealing that all the tower residents can use the pathway, the cat discloses about the shortcuts which are known as the paid pathways that only peddlers can use. He hops onto the Minotaur's hand and asserts that they made it down the dungeon floor through the paid pathway, because he's a peddler. Confused about the pathway thingy, Teo clarifies to them that the Pathway Village is located in the middle, where the paid pathways are intensive, adding that to go to the 38th floor, which is their destination, they will use a shortcut that leads to the 40th floor, and then transfer to the regular pathway. The Minotaur thinks that it's way too intense, but Teo assures the Minotaurs they will get used to it and take a break to have lunch. Thrilled for the food, Teo and the Minotaurs head to his favorite fish spot. As they walk, the wolves pull up an unpremeditated attack on the peddler cat, trapping Teo by his big claws. As the leader wolf seems to find the peddler cat, Teo recognizes that it's the same wolf from before. As the scary wolf asks the cat about the straw hat, the black Minotaur appears from behind and strikes a powerful blow on the wolf, which he manages to dodge. Surprised by the Minotaur, Teo informs the male Minotaur that he's the wolf who attacked him last time and has been looking for him. Assuring Teo that he will take care of the wolf, Elki and Elko, the other two wolves, leap towards the Minotaur from above, preparing to make a sneak attack. However, the female Minotaur comes forward and thrashes a forceful punch, making the wolves slam on the ground. The female Minotaur instructs her fellow warrior to look after Teo, while she will take care of the wolves. Worried, Teo asks the Minotaur if she's going to be okay on her own. He reminds him that they're the most powerful monsters on the 99th floor. These wolves are easy to handle, asserting that she's more powerful than him. Yelling, Teo commands the female Minotaur not to kill the wolves as she stomps toward them to strike another punch. The silver wolf, who seems to have been hurt, plans to escape from here, but the leader Elka seems eager as he can't give up, uttering that he might not get another chance to find the peddler cat. The wolves stand steady and prepared to attack, as the huge Minotaur appears in front of them, ready to fight. Later at the cave, Sejun, along with the young bunnies and the baby bear, seems to have fun outside the cave. All the bunnies seem to get their hair done by the sickle bunny, who has become a great hairdresser. Sejun settles down to get a trim, asserting that his long hair has been blocking his vision. As the sickle bunny holds his sickle, looking like a pro hairdresser, he slashes the hair. Trimming the hair, the sickle bunny and the baby bear witness a bald spot on his hair. Panicked, it seems like the sickle bunny has done damage to Sejun's hair. Unaware of the incident that has happened with his hair, he gets excited to see how his hair turns out. The next scene takes us to the Pathway Village, where the wolves leap forward, attacking the Minotaur. As she is prepared to fight them, the three of the wolves somehow manage to attack her, as they cling their teeth to the Minotaur's hand and feet. Grabbing the skin with their sharp fangs as hard they could, their teeth didn't tear through the thick skin of the Minotaur. Unaffected, the Minotaur makes it clear that they cannot tear her skin, whacking the wolves with her full strength and yanks them as they come crashing on the ground. Witnessing his members getting hurt, Elka decides to fight alone on their behalf, and as he clenches her horn and clings his teeth stronger, however, the Minotaur smashes him on the ground and is about to give him a deadly punch. Witnessing his death in front of him, Elka the leader gets reminded of his father, who reveals to him that they are pureblood silver wolves, and when they die, their spirits become guardian angels of the tribe, adding that they are stronger than any tribe, keeping themselves alive through hunting prey, thanks to their ancestors. His father taught him that their ancestors are their honor, and told him to live a good life with dignity and never disappoint their ancestors. Later, their tribe suffers through famine, and the Western tribes turn back to looting for survival, creating mayhem, and their tribe falls in danger, resulting in Elka's father getting killed while he's saved by someone. Elka, who has grown into an adult wolf, begins to serve greed, but the wolf tribe disapproves of this and criticizes him for making such a shameful decision for serving the subordinate, the lowly boar. It seems like Elka had no choice but to serve greed, because he had to think about their children's future, and decided to lose his dignity to protect them. Elka becomes evil and starts killing for the sake of survival, serving Greed the boar, who orders him to do evil things. Thinking about his father and his tribe at the last moment, Elka faints on the ground as the Minotaur peeks at him. Teo pokes on his face, checking if he's alive. He asks the Minotaur if she's certain that the wolf has passed out. She plans on breaking the wolf's leg so that he can't follow them anymore. Assuming that he called this upon himself by following him, Teo lets out that it is too cruel to break his leg and instructs the Minotaur to take the wolves with them, and Sejun will decide what to do with them. Meanwhile, at the cave, a clean spot shines through Sejun's hair and it seems like a bald spot. As the sickle bunny is done with the haircut, Sejun touches through his hair and freaks out when finds out the bunny has left a bald spot on his head. While the queen bee peeks at the bald spot, our guy thinks of asking Teo to get him a mirror, and the sickle bunny, who seems to be extremely guilty of his act, apologizes to him. He tells the bunny to calm down and everyone makes mistakes. Our fella, who seems fine from the outside, is relieved that there are a bunch of monsters, so one cares about his bald spot, and wears the straw hat so that no one notices. The poor guy doesn't seem fine with his bald patch as he sits by the tree wearing a straw hat. In the meantime, the mama bunny appears, dragging him as he feels ashamed of himself. As he settles down, Mama Bunny pulls out her gardening scissors to give him the perfect trim. The next scene takes us to the dungeon dragon, who seems to enjoy reading and realizes that she has run out of cherry tomatoes. Asserting the food proportions are too low for her now she has grown bigger, she thinks of asking for more cherry tomatoes and gets reminded of Sejun as he thinks of her as a pig with wings. Feeling pressured about being misunderstood as a pig by him, she craves more tomatoes and calls upon her farmer. As she peeks through her magic crystal ball, Aileen witnesses something weird and sends him a notification asking if something is wrong. Getting her notification, our guy doesn't understand what she's talking about, and she elaborates that he looks different. As he removes the straw hat, he tells her about the mama bunny who gave her a haircut and asks her if he looks very different. Looking at Sejun's new look, the dragon is surprised by his haircut. He keeps looking through the notification window, asking her opinion on the haircut. It looks like Aileen loves his haircut as she starts blushing, and gets smitten by his handsome new look, secretly adoring him. But to deny her true feelings, she informs Sejun that she got distracted by something, warns him to not come closer to the screen, and changes the topic to crayfish. Thinking it was about food, to begin with, our guy lets out that they need to cut crayfish, and their population has been declining, adding that there's a decline in the piranha population as well. With fewer protein sources, he reckons that his strict vegetable diet has started to make him more hungry lately, so he decides to give tomato or corn to the admin. Asking Aileen if she finished her dried sweet potatoes, she thanks them for the snack, sending him the last notification that reveals that she likes Sejun's new hair, and disappears quickly. Flattered by Aileen's compliment, which she barely gives, our guy gets back to work. Meanwhile, Aileen holding her basket of corn that Sejun offered her, her heart keeps pounding swiftly, which leads her to wonder if there is something wrong with her dragon heart. Shaking herself, it turns out that she was surprised by his sudden makeover, or maybe she was flustered by his extremely good looks. Looking at the corn, she gets reminded of Sejun, who was craving protein. She searches for a book on her shelf and pulls out a cookbook, asserting that she will make him something special this time with all her energy, and starts blushing again. Reaching the 38th floor of the dungeon, the hunters seem to be eagerly waiting for the peddler cat as they gathered around him. Surprised by the rush, he announces auctioning 3,600 cherry tomatoes in batches of 400. People are freaked out by the massive amount of the level D cherry tomatoes and begin the auctions, which seem to be going pretty smoothly. Rapidly selling out on his cherry tomatoes, as Teo is about to toss out another 2,000 cherry tomatoes, a hunter appears and offers to buy all the remaining cherry tomatoes for 1,600 dungeon coins. Asserting that no one will try to compete against Gagel, the hunter buys all the cherry tomatoes as Teo happily sells him for such a great amount of dungeon coins. Meanwhile, the other hunters start gossiping about how the real world is already falling short on the cherry tomatoes, and the huge multinational company has acquired all of them. As the hunters seem to be alarmed by the situation, Dongshik presumes that the tomatoes are now out of reach of ordinary hunters like them. However, he feels satisfied after thinking that he knows the peddler cat and thinks of making a deal with Sejun through him again. However, his thoughts are interrupted when one of Gagel's workers reveals that tomatoes' features show the producer's name, which seems to be Sejun Park. Baffled, Dongshik rushes to see the name on the status window and figures out that Sejun is a farmer. The hunter who was hired by Michael McLaren immediately sends out his team member to the guild headquarters on the first floor to find out who Sejun Park is. Saying that they should bring him on their side, he instructs them to send the American hunters to Korea. Thrilled by the news, the hunter finds a way to make the vice president happy and dreams of getting a promotion. Flustered, Dongshik ponders about Sejun and losing a great talent like him, contemplating that his family will be in danger because the cherry tomatoes are more precious than jewelry among the rich in the outside world. Adding that if the producer is inside the tower, they will do everything in their power to dominate the market. Zoned out in his thoughts, as Teo approaches Dongshik, he immediately grabs him and takes him to a corner, asking him about the sudden appearance of the producer's label. Teo reveals that it's because he upgraded to the intermediate peddler level, adding that they removed the manufacturer's name to protect rookie peddlers. As the cat speculates why he is asking such questions, Dongshik informs that Sejun's family is in danger, disclosing how his cherry tomatoes are cherished by the outside world, who have become obsessed with them. He proceeds to inform that Teo was safe until he kept the producer's name a secret. But now that people know who grew these cherry tomatoes, people would sniff him like dogs and would do anything to take them. Thinking that it's his fault for getting promoted to the intermediate level, he freaks out knowing that Sejun will never forgive him. But Dongshik assures Sejun's family's safety and asserts that he will try his best to keep his family as safe as his, revealing that his guild's reputation is at stake. Appreciating Dongshik for his sheer kindness, Teo asks him for a favor and pulls out something from his rucksack. He hands in a gift for Sejun's family, which seems to be a bucket full of corn, cherry tomatoes, and carrots, telling him the reward will be 200 magic tomatoes. Dongshik is astounded by the sight of agility carrots and health corns. Assuming that it will be dangerous if the world gets to know about it, Dongshik tells Teo not to worry about it, and he makes sure to send these gifts to his family. Later, on the 38th floor of the peddler's pathway, the minotaurs chew on their green onion leaves while Elka keeps insulting them as he ties them down, asserting that he thought of minotaurs as legends, adding that their pride has been crushed under the weight of their knuckle as they keep doing what that tiny peddler tells them to do and calls them stupid cows. Thinking of punching the wolf once again, the minotaurs are interrupted by the rushing Teo, who seems to be in haste as he asks them to go back to the cave immediately, uttering that he will explain all the things along the way. While the minotaurs carry the wolves, the peddler cat stops by a joint and picks up a shiny necklace that's for 2 dungeon coins. As the shopkeeper, who seems to be frightened by the minotaurs, Teo asks him for a discount. The next scene takes us to the outside world, where Dongshik arrives at the Awakened Association and meets with Taijin Han, the former head of the Phoenix Guild and the current advisor at the Korea Awakened Association. As the room seems to be freezing, Dongshik enters the room wearing an oversized parachute jacket and hands in the report to the advisor. While he reads the report that Dongshik had written, the advisor freaks out when he finds out Sejun Park has cleared up the 40th floor of the dungeon, and his current location is still unknown. Knowing that Sejun is a farmer and on the top floor of the dungeon, the former head, Taejin, blows up with anger as the fire flames come out of him. He asks Dongshik why he has hidden such a rare talent from him and suspects that he's hiding something. Dongshik gets confused about Taejin bursting into flames with anger and tells his master to stop overreacting, assuring him that he has reported everything. He further says that Taejin had unofficially reached the 52nd floor of the dungeon, so there's nothing to be surprised about. But the former head mumbles that it's different because they have discovered a new occupation, which is farming in the dungeon. Sejun has a unique talent, adding that he would have already rushed inside the dungeon if it wasn't for his fire curse. It is revealed to us that Taejin has some kind of curse on him, which makes his body burst into flames, and he can't control it. As the fire disappears, a red mark appears on Taejin's hand, and he reveals that his curse of flames has spread further. Mumbling that Dongshik had not come here to make fun of his master, he asks Dongshik why he came to the association. Dongshik states that Sejun Park's family is in danger, and he needs the association's help to protect his family. He explains to him that people will soon find out the cherry tomato producer is a Korean, which will put his family in a dangerous spot because they will be targeted by many people around the world. Hearing this, the advisor assures Dongshik that he doesn't need to worry. After all, he deployed a security team when he heard from Dongshik about the farmer guy. Taejin then orders the guild leader to take charge of the security because he already knows Sejun's family. He commands Dongshik to keep Sejun's family safe, as they cannot lose such an impressive talent to another country, adding that he has already heard that a few countries are sniffing around and are trying to approach his family. As Dongshik tells him that he will look into this matter, he offers his master a basket of magic cherry tomatoes. Surprisingly, when looking at the cherry tomatoes, Dongshik informs him that these are the famous cherry tomatoes grown by Sejun and sold by the peddler cat, adding that these tomatoes might help with his curse, but not significantly. Glancing at the cherry tomatoes, Taejun decides to try one of those and finds it delicious. The next scene takes us to Sejun Park's family, where we see them staring shockingly at Sejun's gift, which seems to be buckets full of corn, carrots, and cherry tomatoes. Sedol recognizes the dungeon cherry tomatoes that are all the rage and help with weight loss. Assuming that the corn and carrots have the same features, he asks Dongshik if Sejun has grown all these in the dungeon. Dongshik enlightens the family about Sejun, who had grown these items on his farm. For that reason, many people are going after him, which also puts his family at risk. Affirming that the Korean Awakened Association wants to protect them, he instructs them to prepare for relocation. Sejun's family is baffled by this news and asks Dongshik where they will be relocating as they still need to pay off the mortgage of their house. He informs the family that he has found housing in Hanam, Seoul. Upon hearing this, Sedol jumps out in happiness and asks if Dongshik is talking about Hanam, which has a fancy riverside neighborhood where many celebrities live. As Sedol gets curious about who his neighbors will be, Dongshik bursts his bubble and reveals that he will be neighbors with his family. Sedol's excitement washes away as he gets to know that he will be neighbors with Dongshik. The poor guy signs out of disappointment, daydreaming that he would be neighbors with the K-pop girl group or something. As soon as he says this, Dongshik asks Sedol if he likes K-pop bands and if he has heard about the girl group Moonlights. While Sedol tells him that he's a fan of the Moonlights and everyone in Korea knows about that top girl group, Dongshik takes his phone out and shows a picture of her daughter, who turns out to be Sarah of the Moonlights, telling Sedol that he'd be happy to invite him if he's a fan. Getting to know this jaw-dropping news, Sedol is astounded and asks Dongshik if he's really talking about Sarah, the Moonlights' leader and main vocalist. Booming with excitement, he can't get enough of her incredible talents. He lets out that Sarah is the genius of the century and the most beautiful K-pop idol in history who writes and produces songs for the group. Bowing down with respect, Sedol ruminates that Sarah mentioned in one of her albums that her father is a hunter and thanks Dongshik for raising her. Holding Dongshik's hand, Sedol shows gratitude to him for being the father of a famous K-pop idol and tells him he loves him. At the same time, poor Dongshik is a bit overwhelmed and mumbles that's a bit too much. Meanwhile, Sedol is obsessed with Dongshik. Sejun's mother gets worried about him because she was unaware of the fact that he was making money for the family in the tower through farming, which is arduous work, and hopes that someone is helping him with all the backbreaking farming work. The scene flips to the Black Dragon cooking something special for Sejun from a cookbook recipe. She adds the last seasonings to the soup, and a light flashes from inside the pot as it seems to be done. At the dungeon field, Sejun inspects the green onion seeds, which seem to be growing well and almost ready for harvest. The boy narrates that they collected seeds from the green onions 2 weeks ago and planted them outside the cave to earn items. He then harvests the green onion plant with the dagger and finds no status window, assuming it's because they're not fruit. As the Black Warrior Bunny gets frustrated to see that the green onion they've grown outside the cave is not an item, Sejun plucks out the whole green onion from the root, and that's when the status window pops up, showing that he has harvested detoxifying leek. He earns plenty of rewards for harvesting, and his occupational XP increases. Our guy reads the description of the detoxifying green onion, which reveals that these items are full of nutrients and flavors. They neutralize the toxins level C+ and lower for 1 hour when consumed, and they also activate the liver's detoxifying features for 20 hours. Sejun happily holds on to the detoxifying leek and says that he already knew they were an item. As he gets curious about how the new green onion tastes, Sejun and the Black Bunny grab a bite of the leek and conclude that it doesn't taste any different from the older green onions, not feeling that it's detoxing either. But Sejun ponders that if these green onions strengthen the liver, they will be great detoxifying products for people who drink, and thinks of growing them fast so that he can sell them. In the meantime, the Wagon Bunny calls upon Sejun, trying to tell him something. As he thinks if it's time to eat, the bunny takes him to the pond, which happens to be empty. Our boy looks inside the pond and witnesses that the piranha or crayfish population has dramatically declined. Asserting that he also tried to lure them with blood, which didn't work either, Sejun disconcertingly informs the bunnies that they have to make dinner without fish for a while. Suddenly, the notification window pops up in front of Sejun. It comes about that Aileen, the dungeon admin, has prepared a gift for her farmer, who's been in the tower for more than 200 days. While the bunnies grieve the disappearance of fish from the pond, our guy wonders if it's been that long since he came into the tower and appreciates the admin for celebrating an anniversary. As he questions the admin about the special gift she has prepared, Aileen sends a quest and asks for 1 magic cherry tomato. Offering her the magic tomato, our guy earns a reward, a healthy soup Aileen prepared. In a flash, a huge pot appears from inside the screen. Our guy gets traumatized when he sees Aileen's healthy soup pot and witnesses a dead fish and eyeballs floating inside the soup. Aileen's healthy soup appears to be an item, and her first dish is made with various wondrous items. She makes it clear that the soup might not taste good, but the health effects are guaranteed. Freaked out by the scary sight of the soup pot, our boy asks Aileen if it's edible, but she ignores what Sejun had just said, telling him that she's tired of cooking and signs off to take a nap. Aileen looks at him through the magic crystal ball, mumbling that she put a lot of effort into the soup and will return for a review once she wakes up, dozing off her pillow. While Sejun calls for the admin, hoping to ask her questions about the soup, he invites the bunnies to share the soup with him. But the bunnies, who are also disgusted by the soup, run for their life, leaving our guy to enjoy it alone. Disgusted at the sight of the soup pot, Sejun speculates about the features of the healthy soup items and comes to know that all his stats will increase by 3 points if he drinks the soup and survives. Thinking that it's a great item, he further reads the description. He finds out that he will be poisoned by level C paralyzed toxins and by level C acid, scaring the hell out of him. As our guy says that it's too risky if he drinks the poisoned soup, Black Warrior Bunny tries to tell him something. The bunny brings the level C detoxifying green onion that could help Sejun survive the soup, and he won't get poisoned to death. Preparing himself to drink that deadly soup, the bunnies fetch him plenty of detoxifying green onions. After eating several green onions to help him detoxify, he braces himself to drink the soup, thinking it might taste better than it looks. But he is hit by reality when he takes a sip and immediately spits it out just because of how sickening it is. He pukes out the intolerable soup, sprinkling some of it on the bunnies and the queen bee. While poor Sejun cries out of disgust, he says that the medicine isn't supposed to taste good, but this soup is terrible. He imagines Aileen as an evil pig with wings, trying to kill him from the very beginning by making this deadly soup. Snapping out of his imagination, he decides to drink the whole pot at once and gulps the whole thing down. While his mouth is stuck to the pot, his eyes lock in with the dead blob's fish eyes staring at him. The dead blobfish makes eye contact with him, which scares his pants off. Panicked, he instantly throws the pot on the ground, and it accidentally tumbles into the pond. As he gets startled by the dead fish, the pot dashes right into the pond, and the poisonous soup blends in with the pond water. Fortunately, he finishes the soup and is rewarded as all his stats increase by 3. He feels satisfied after finishing Aileen's soup. However, the rewards keep popping up for killing a giant electric eel and other fish in the pond. That's when he discovers the water has been poisoned, killing all the fish in the pond. Our boy apologizes to the bunnies and responds that they cannot drink the pond water for a while because it has gotten poisonous. He thinks of drinking water from the daddy bunny's sprinkler until the ponds get clean again. While all this happens, Sejun gets worried about the hole in the pond as the toxins enter through it, killing the crayfish and the piranhas. Assuming that he has never seen a giant eel before, our guy reckons that there must be a more extensive ecosystem on the other side of the hole, and they can find a way to diversify their protein source. The black bunny prepares to swim through the hole and find that extensive ecosystem, but Sejun refuses to let him go because of the poisonous water and lets out that the hole is too small for him. He can get stuck and die on the other side of the pond. Appreciating his high spirit, our boy pats the warrior bunny. He tells him that he can't jeopardize his life and decides to revive the plan when the pond water gets clean again. After that, he assures the bunnies that they've enough food stored to survive without the protein source. The next scene takes us to the waypoint of the Ox King's base, where we see Captain Ox waiting for Minotaur 3 and stressing that he has yet to return from his mission. As the captain questions about Minotaur number 4, one of the warrior Minotaurs informs him that she hasn't returned yet either, disclosing that the missing Minotaurs might have entered the Crimson Grizzly Bear or the poisonous honeybee's territory while searching for the leaves, and assumes that they must have mistakenly ended up where the monsters are, who devour every part of the prey and leave no traces. This worries the captain as he grasps the situation and commands Minotaur 1 to gather everyone from Oxen 2 through 102 at the waypoint, instructing them to cover for him. The Ox King rises from his throne and decides to look out for the Minotaurs himself as he anticipates that something's not right on the other side of the territory. The scene then shifts to the dungeon field, where we see a massive pile of trimmed green onions. As Sejun peeks at the large stack of green onions, he supposes it will be enough to feed 10 Minotaurs. Meanwhile, the baby bear hops on the pile of green onions, which feels like a soft, plushy bed. Sejun, who watches Bae relax on the soft green onions, tells him to take some for bedtime with his mother. Soon after that, our guy receives a notification that shows that he has activated a new ability known as the Plentiful Harvest. With 2,500 square feet of the green onion field, the yield will increase by 50% for 1 week. Looking at the new field of green onions, our guy reckons that the green onions are already growing at a fast pace, and now with this ability, they will be able to grow remarkably. He presumes that they now have to trim the green onions thrice a day because of the incredibly fast growth. With his stat levels soaring because of Aileen's soup, he can easily trim the green onions along with Sickle Bunny, who seems to be flaunting his chopping skills. In the meantime, Aileen appears and sends a notification to ask Sejun if he has finished his soup. Our guy then thanks the admin for the soup and assures her that he feels stronger after drinking it. But this doesn't end here when the admin asks about the taste, which puts Sejun in a tough spot as he is reminded of the terrible taste. Still, he manages to dodge the question, saying he doesn't remember. Aileen suspects that he doesn't like the soup's taste and gets sad, but our boy assures her that he liked it, and that is how he was able to drink the whole thing. He adds some colorful remarks about soup, expressing that it was so unreal that it almost killed him. Upon hearing this, the admin decides to make another soup pot for him since he liked it so much. Panicked, Sejun immediately stops her and tries to convince her not to cook it again. Not wanting to drink that soup again, he persuades her that she doesn't have to go through all the trouble for him, and reminds her how exhausted she got after cooking. Halfway there to convince her, our guy assures Aileen that she doesn't have to go out to cook for him as he prefers talking to her like this, adding that he will handle cooking because he likes it when she enjoys it. With a pleasant smile, our guy tries his best to persuade her not to cook. In the back of his mind, he wishes that she would agree to his, sounding desperate. Aileen is smitten by Sejun's smooth talk, saying that he's such a great dungeon farmer. She starts to blush, breaking a pillar of her house as she expresses her admiration. Eventually, as she agrees, our guy succeeds in cajoling the admin not to cook. Sejun finally lets out a sigh of relief while Aileen asks him what he's cooking for dinner. Suddenly the ground starts shaking as the bunnies and the crimson grizzly cubs stumble on the floor. It seems like something dangerous is coming their way. As our guy tries to process the situation, he witnesses a colossal black minotaur trampling his fields, holding an axe, leaping towards them. It occurs that Captain Ox has found his way to Sejun's field. While our guy screams as the minotaur approaches, Captain Ox prepares to attack them. The mama crimson bear, who is also in the field alongside Sejun, begins to roar as she detects the enemy coming towards them. As the crimson bear's thundering roar reverberates through the field, Sejun and the bunnies shut their ears to cancel the deafening noise. Terrified, our guy notices that this minotaur looks different from the ones he's encountered. To clarify the situation, the tower manager reveals that this minotaur is the boss of the 99th floor, known as the Ox King, adding that he defends the waypoint in his territory and cannot leave it. Our guy reckons that the boss is the waypoint defender who can move down the tower and recalls that King Ox was the monster enemy that the Crimson Grizzly Bear was talking about. Unaware of why the boss came here to the field, the admin also seems to know nothing about him and tells Sejun that she will try to approach him. Aileen takes out her grandpa's guidebook and reads that, according to the principal, the boss of the 99th floor must stay in the waypoint territory. She fails to use the dungeon admin rights as she tries to summon the Ox King through her magic crystal ball. Unable to perform administrator rights, she fails to approach the boss. It seems like her magic crystal ball is not responding to her status window request. Assuming that the administrator's rights are unlimited, Aileen gasps shockingly and informs Sejun that she can't communicate with Ox King. A strike of terror rushes through our boy when he gets to know that there's no way to stop the monster who is just about to attack them, and the white farmer bunnies cling to Sejun out of fear. As the Ox King keeps speeding towards them, the mama crimson grizzly bear steps forward and prepares herself for the fight. But Sejun screams at the mama bear and attempts to stop her, saying she cannot stop the boss of the 99th floor on her own. In the meantime, the minotaur stomps toward them as he grasps his axe to strike at Sejun and the animals, and death flashes before their eyes. At that moment, when the minotaur leaps towards them, our guy holds onto the baby bear and shouts that they will die while the bunnies shut their eyes, scared witless. Aileen screamed through her magic crystal ball as she had no choice but to witness the horrifying events happening in front of her. However, the colossal minotaur comes crashing to the ground, but strange enough, he does not hurt anybody. It comes about that the hungry Captain Ox was frenzied when he saw the green onion leaves on the field. The boss, who scares the hell out of the farmer gang, starts chewing on the green onion leaves, and Sejun concludes that it's just a humongous cow that loves green onions. As they all watch the ox with utter confusion, the captain of the 99th floor gathers all the leaves and returns to his territory, trampling over the green onion field. While the admin guesses that the boss is returning to the waypoint, Sejun is baffled and ponders why he came here. Nonetheless, our boy lets out a sigh of relief and trips to the ground as his legs tremble with fear after seeing the minotaur, while the bunnies are traumatized as they nearly escape their death. Despite all this, our guy thanks the mama bear for defending them and looks at the green onion field the Minotaur destroyed. Sejun and the bunnies are disgruntled when they collect the remains of their green onion field and are startled by King Ox's massive destruction. Meanwhile, Aileen feels happy after knowing that her farmer is safe, and she joins their moment of grief as the green onion field has been destroyed. But Sejun assures that it will be alright, uttering that he's happy about the captain's sudden arrival and visiting the field himself. He adds that he should have visited Ox King with the green onion leaves sooner. While Aileen is clueless about what he's talking about, he continues to contemplate that Minotaurs are warriors who value honor, and the king will respect his principles more than anyone. It looks like something is cooking in Sejun's mind, and he is about to find another partner or maybe a slave. As the admin already seems to know about his evil plans, Sejun puts a cunning smirk on his face and thinks of how he should make the king pay back with interest who destroyed his fields and stole his harvest. After that, he brings the food for the bunnies and tells them to eat first so that they clean the mess made by the Minotaur. Looking at the grilled vegetables, the baby bunnies start making a fuss about it. Sejun grasps the situation and lets out that they are craving meat, which is scarce at the moment. He makes the baby bunnies understand they need to eat to grow up, pointing at the baby bear who is chewing on his food quietly. Convincing the baby bunnies to eat the vegetables, he tells them that the blue moon is approaching, and they need to eat as they will soon be growing into adult farmers to help their parents at the farm. As he makes the baby bunnies eat the vegetables, he pats the baby bear for being a good kid and notices that he hasn't grown much lately. Getting playful, he tickles Bae and asks if he's been eating enough. In the meantime, someone calls upon Sejun, and it turns out Teo has returned from his mission. As he welcomes Teo, our guy witnesses the two Minotaurs carrying wolves on their backs. That's when the cat explains to him that these silver wolves were chasing him, so the female Minotaur disciplined them with a good beating. Climbing on Sejun's shoulder, Teo tells him that they didn't know what to do with the wolves, so they decided to bring them here so the president can make the call. Planning to interrogate the silver wolves to find out why they were targeting Teo, Sejun finds the wolves asleep. That's when the female Minotaur reveals that she smacked their heads because they kept blabbering. While Sejun asks her when they will wake up, Teo peeks at the destructive field and asks what happened there. Our guy informs the two Minotaurs that their captain stopped by the field. Upon hearing this, the Minotaurs freak out and think that they are doomed. But before they decide to discuss the details, Sejun tells them to eat first, as they must have been hungry after a long trip. While both of the Minotaurs excitedly leave for the food, Teo, who is about to spill something confidential to Sejun, gets interrupted by the silver wolf. The silver wolf attacks them from behind, but the baby bear arrives at the scene and attacks the wolf. As the wolf dodges the hit, our boy realizes his straw hat is gone. The other two wolves, who seem to have passed out, join the wolf leader, Elka, who thanks Sejun for the hat. It seems like the wolf has finally gotten his hands on the straw hat. He informs our guy that he will take care of it, while our guy is shocked by the sneak attack and panics about his straw hat. Sejun, who is unhappy with his straw hat gone and can no longer hide his bald spot, lets out that the wolves were faking the feint to steal the straw hat. With their mission being accomplished, the wolves are about to escape from the field when they are halted by a colossal and terrifying crimson grizzly bear. The furious crimson bear frightens the hell out of the wolves as she approaches them with her big claws and a thundering roar. The petrified wolves immediately surrender themselves to the bear, tossing the straw hat on the ground. After retrieving the straw, our guy feels elated after putting the straw hat back on, while the Minotaurs regret not breaking the wolf's legs earlier. Watching the Minotaurs and the bears seething with anger, Sejun decides to tackle the situation, but the baby bear suggests eating all the wolves and gives them a deadly stare. Our boy rejects Bae's idea, offering him some honey instead, and thanks the junior queen bee for giving some honey to the baby bear, as he seems to crave some. He strides towards the angry monsters and tells them to calm down. Observing the colossal monsters following the boy's commands, Elka, the silver wolf, wonders why these powerful beasts would listen to this man. One of the wolves informs Elka that they're addressing the man as Sejun, thinking that it's a form of address unique to the 99th floor. As soon as he listens to this, a wave of shock hits Elka when he realizes that the man might be the Great Black Dragon, which is why all the monsters are following his orders. Contemplating that the Great Black Dragon is real, Elka speculates that they address the dragon as Sejun on the 99th floor. The wolf gets utterly confused about how that Great Black Dragon who rules the whole tower looks so fragile. Looking at Sejun, the silver wolf, who thinks of him as a black dragon, ruminates that the dragon must be testing him to let their guards down. In the meantime, our guy walks toward the wolves and interrogates them about why they're chasing Teo and the straw hat. Thinking that he's the black dragon, Elka and the other wolves bow down respectfully and apologize to him. The wolves justify themselves, uttering that they didn't know they were facing the Great Black Dragon and plead to forgive them as they couldn't recognize the peddler cat as his servant. Baffled by the wolves' claim, Sejun is left speechless. But Aileen, the real black dragon, watches the whole thing through her crystal ball and springs with excitement. She immediately notifies him and grants Sejun special permission to pretend to be the black dragon. Aileen gives him a quest to reveal the great black dragon's greatness to the silver wolves and convinces the farmer that it will serve him well. Our guy flinches and is left bewildered. As he wonders why Aileen is asking him to act like a black dragon and thinks about it, our boy instantly discovers that she is the great black dragon, not a pig with wings. That's when he connects the lost pieces of the puzzle, and it all starts to make sense as he recalls that Aileen is a dungeon administrator after all. Sejun decides to do the quest and reveals himself as the black dragon in front of the wolves, claiming that he thought he could hide himself in human disguise. However, the wolves found out about his reality, so nothing can be undone. Making a horrifying face to scare the wolves, he frantically claims himself as the great black dragon. As he scolds the wolves for eyeing his possessions and intimidating his servant Teo, Aileen and the Minotaurs don't seem to sit well with his overplaying. Teo, who gets startled by Sejun's dreadful face, asks him to stop, but our guy offers him the cat treats and orders his cat servant to take the black dragon's blessing. Acting along with Sejun, Teo jumps down his shoulder and commands the wolves to kneel before the great black dragon. Poor Elka apologizes to him and says that the black dragon has all the right to take his life as he is the leader of the wolves, but requests him to spare the lives of his fellow humble wolves. Our boy decides to forgive the wolves, extending his mercy toward them. However, this doesn't end here when he demands 10,000 dungeon coins, adding that this is the price for going after his servant Teo's life, and he will forgive them if they pay back the debt. While the wolves are flummoxed by the many dungeon coins they have to pay, Teo is left in awe and puffed up as he didn't know his life was worth so much. Our boy affirms to Teo that he's the CEO responsible for their product distribution, asking him to take out the contract. Meanwhile, Elka reveals that they don't have that much to pay back. The peddler cat tosses the contract paper out of his rucksack and says that if they don't have the money, they have to pay back with labor. As the wolf doesn't understand what the peddler cat is trying to say, Teo clarifies that they have to pay back the debt by working with them. Upon hearing this, Elko and Elki, the other wolf members, remind their leader of their with greed. After giving it a thought, Elka respectfully refuses to sign the contract with the black dragon. While the admin gets offended by the wolf's decline of the great black dragon's proposal, our boy walks toward the chief leader of the wolves and asks him why he is refusing his proposal. That's when Elka discloses his contract with greed and tells Sejun that his tribe lives on the 85th floor of the dungeon, where they have been suffering from a prolonged drought. He adds that stronger wolves like him became mercenaries, and they barely got food to feed themselves while working for Greed, the landlord. He reveals that Greed's request for this time was to bring back the stolen straw hat, but their mission failed when he discovered that his straw hat belonged to the great black dragon. Elka asserts they no longer have a food supply, and if they agree to work with him downstairs, their children will starve. The wolf then willingly pleads with Sejun to let them pay the price for their lives. After asking the wolf's leader's name, Sejun asks him if he knows what they do on the field. As the wolf answers that he cultivates the farm, Elka gets the hint of what he is trying to tell him. Upon hearing this, our boy decides to add another clause in the contract, which says everyone in Elka's tribe will contribute to pay off the debt, and in return, he will provide him with enough food for his entire tribe. As soon as the wolves hear this great news, Elko and Elki jump out of sheer happiness, saying that they don't have to serve that greedy pig anymore, and thank Sejun for his kindness. Watching all this through the screen melts the admin's heart. She smiles and sends the notification about the quest being completed, adding that she's delighted that the black dragon has been praised. Later, Elka signs the contract, and Sejun informs him that Teo will be their supervisor and that they will report to him. The cat happily flaunts that he's a boss now. Teo then takes the wolves to meet their fellow cow workers, the Minotaurs, uttering that they will learn a lot from them. The wolves apologize for their earlier behavior and look forward to working with the Minotaurs. Our guy then ponders about Greed, the landlord, who seems to be another high-profile figure in the tower, presuming that he can be a threat down the road, and plans on sending the wolves with Teo the next time he travels downstairs, so that this way, the Minotaurs could focus more on the farm work. But his moment of contemplation is interrupted by hungry Teo, who asks him for fish to share some with the wolves. Sejun, who hadn't told the cat about the lack of their protein source, reveals everything to him. Upon hearing this, Teo starts making a fuss about it and accuses Sejun that he's a fraud. As our guy and the black warrior bunny sit by the pond, he asks Teo to stop throwing tantrums and gives him hope that they're trying to figure things out. While Teo makes it clear that he won't work until he eats, our boy puts his hand in the pond water to check if the poison has diluted and apprises the black bunny to prepare himself to explore the other side of the pond. The black warrior bunny strikes a blow with his hammer, making the rocks fall to pieces as the sediments splash in the water. Sejun compliments the bunny for his great work and lets out that the hole has gotten much more extensive, giving enough space for the bunny to pass through. As the black bunny swims through the hole, he immediately snaps back as it's too dark for him to see anything. Sejun warns that the bunny won't be safe to swim in the dark, even with a broader passage, and asks Teo if he happens to have anything that could help the black bunny light up his path. Teo, who seems to be playing with the baby bunnies, mumbles that his rucksack has a lot of random stuff and can try to find a light for the bunny. As he tosses out all the stuff inside his rucksack, it all appears to be knickknacks and useless stuff. However, something grabs Sejun's eye as he picks up a scratched gemstone necklace that has fallen from Teo's rucksack. Soon after that, our boy immediately asks the admin to inspect the necklace, just as she did with the straw hat. The admin answers back, saying that he is in good hands and revealing that this item is exactly what he wants. While Sejun offers her a basket full of cherry tomatoes and completes the quest, he earns a reward, the necklace. As the necklace appears in his hands, our guy notices that its appearance has changed completely after the inspection. The item inspected by the admin turns out to be an amber necklace with light magic engraving. Our guy gets ecstatic after learning that the necklace lights up their surroundings, which could help the bunny light up the dark pond so that he can see better. After that, the cat asks Sejun if the product is of any help and pleads for extra CEO hours. To his surprise, our boy flatters Teo for his great work and squeezes his squishy paws, calling him Golden Paws. He then permanently appoints Teo as his farm's CEO and head of distribution. Unable to believe his words, the cat feels as happy as ever as Sejun grabs him in his arms. To add the cherry on top, our boy decides to make Teo the president for one day to celebrate his permanent position. Bursting with happiness, our cat does a little cheerful dance. Now that Teo's president for a day, he instructs the black warrior bunny to use the necklace and bring the pile of fish, while the black bunny energetically agrees to him and gets determined to secure their protein. Later, as Sejun wears the glimmery necklace, the status window appears that says the higher the user's magic level, the brighter the light will be. He then gives the necklace to the black warrior bunny to check his magic powers. As soon as the warrior bunny wears the necklace, a blinding ray of light emerges from it, making our poor guy jealous for having less magical powers than a bunny. While the black bunny proudly flaunts his magical powers as the necklace shines brighter, our guy clarifies that he will have no problem seeing in the water and instructs him to take a detoxifying leak just in case. For further safety, our guy ties a rope to the black bunny and informs him to pull on the rope twice if he is unable to breathe or gets in danger so that he can pull him out immediately. Prepared to make a dive, Sejun reminds him that he could also use the dagger as it will be hard to use his hammer inside the water. Finally, the warrior bunny hops into the pond with everything he needs and swims through the hole. As he swims across the hole, the bunny spots another big hole on the other side. He enters through that spot and witnesses a whole ecosystem on the frontier. Fascinated by the sight, he swims further and peeks at all the kinds of fishes that pass by him. However, the black bunny notices that all the fish are dead and is reminded that it's because of the poisonous soup mixed with the pond water. He pulls out his dagger and slashes through a giant eelfish. As he cuts through the fish, a light shines through, and it occurs that the black bunny has retrieved the inner core of an electric eel. Holding the inner core in his hands, he imagines himself being Sejun's favorite while Teo, who was once cherished, sits gloomily in the corner. With a cunning grin, the bunny grabs that shiny inner core and ties the rope around the giant eel to carry it back to the cave. Suddenly, the warrior bunny senses something behind him. It appears to be a big shark rushing towards him with its big jaw wide open. While the shark grabs the giant eel tied down by the bunny's rope and swims further, the warrior rabbit gets dragged by the shark and is flabbergasted by a sudden sneak attack. Eventually, the giant eel slashes in half and the black bunny manages to pull the rope twice before blacking out shortly after. Fortunately, Sejun receives the signal and commands everyone to pull the rope tightly. They pull the rope with all their strength, and finally, the black bunny comes out of the hole. Panic-stricken, Sejun holds the black bunny, who seems to be passed out and tries to wake him up. Watching the black bunny lay unconscious, our boy freaks out as he tries to wake him up and grabs him in his hands. Worried, Sejun takes quick action and asks the queen honeybee to hold on to his hat for a minute. Well, it turns out that our guy is preparing himself to perform mouth-to-mouth CPR on the black bunny. He makes a pout and approaches the black bunny for CPR. Suddenly, the warrior bunny splashes a mouthful of water on Sejun's face. When the warrior bunny comes back to life, our poor guy accidentally tastes the water that goes right into his mouth. Disgusted, he spits out the water and checks on the black bunny, who seems mad at him about the mouth CPR. Yelling at our guy, Sejun defends himself, saying that he should be complaining instead for nearly losing his first kiss to save the bunny's life. The parent farmer bunnies gather around the black bunny to see if he's okay. While Aileen blushes at Sejun, who seems to be without his straw hat, Our guy takes his hat back from the honeybee and puts it back on, responding infuriatingly that he's happy about the bunny not getting hurt. As he complains about the salty water splashing into his mouth, the admin asserts that the black bunny went to the Sea of Dimensions. The dungeon administrator further reveals the Sea of Dimensions, which lies between each floor of the tower. Every floor is provided with safe passages that separate the way from the dangerous marine monsters. However, some areas have channels that lead to the Sea of Dimensions. She adds that the sea is home to many marine monsters, and some of these monsters are a delight to eat. After learning about the Sea of Dimensions, our guy understands why crayfish, a marine species, found their way into a freshwater pond. He asks the black bunny if he found something worth catching in the sea, and that's when the black warrior bunny tosses something out of his bag, and it seems to be the inner core of the giant eel. As Sejun inspects the inner core with astonishment, the warrior bunny pulls the rope he was tied to, and a giant electric eel splashes out of the pond and lands on the ground. While Sejun gets exhilarated to see that the bunny has managed to retrieve a giant eel's head, at that very moment, loads of piranhas and crayfish come flooding into their pond. Happiness gushes through them as they witness the heavenly sight of fish and accomplish their goal of bringing back their protein source. When our guy figures out that the giant eel's fatty head must have lured all the fish behind it, he twirls along with the black bunny out of joy, appreciating him for his great work. To celebrate this moment, our guy announces a grand barbecue party. At the field, the bunnies, minotaurs, and wolves enjoy their food outside the cave. Later, Teo explains everything to Sejun that he had heard on the 38th floor about his family being in danger, and proceeds to inform him that Dongshik has offered to protect his family. Concerned about his family, Sejun couldn't help but wonder if his tomatoes were that popular out there, as our boy seemed to be unaware of this. He gets worried about his family, as he never thought they would be in danger. To ensure his family's safety, our guy assigns Teo to ask Dongshik how his family is being protected the next time he travels down the tower. He then thinks of repaying Dongshik for his kindness, and Teo tells him that he also likes the cherry tomatoes. Sejun becomes happy to hear that, saying he would send Dongshik some other crops too. While Teo climbs on his lap and asks for a treat, the cat notices something and responds that the crystal ball the black bunny gave him earlier is moving. It turns out to be the giant eel's inner core. Our guy grabs the inner core and tells Teo he can acquire a skill if he eats it. Meanwhile, Teo sniffs the inner core, which smells delicious to him. Sejun guesses that it must be an electric skill. Thinking it might be static energy, the cat moves away from the orange core, stating that it would make his hair stiff and messy. However, Sejun seems to like the skills of the inner core for the reason that he has only acquired farming skills since he entered the tower and wants to try a different kind of skill. Our guy feels like he's on some kind of adventure, but Teo bursts his bubble and lets out that he has just left the cave. Curious, Teo asks him why he isn't acquiring the skill by eating the inner core as soon as possible. Well, unfortunately, our boy cannot eat the inner core just yet, as he confesses that he doesn't have enough magic powers. We are shown that Sejun's magic level is 8.05, while the user requirements ask for level 10 or higher. Upon hearing his sob story, Teo bursts into laughter and makes fun of the president, who seems to be short on magic. Watching the cat making fun of him, Sejun gets pissed off and makes a mocking remark about Teo's magical power. Our guy gets cocky and taunts Teo because he's speaking as if he has more magical powers than him. He then asks the cat about his level of magic power. To piss him off more, Teo swanks his butts at him and refuses to reveal his level of magic, making our guy grits his teeth out of frustration. However, our curious main character pulls the amber light necklace out of his pocket and sneaks up on Teo to make him wear the necklace to his magical powers. To his surprise, a bright beam of light flashes out of the necklace after a second, and poor Sejun melts in a breakdown, uttering that he has the lowest magic power here. While Teo proudly flaunts his magic power and utters that he's the perfect owner of the necklace, Bei appears from behind and asks Sejun, who is already jealous of Teo's magic level, to check his magical powers too. On the other hand, the minotaurs chew on their leaves, and the wolves thank the wagon bunny for bringing them tons of grilled fish, while the farmer bunnies enjoy their fish feast. In the meantime, Sejun approaches the wolves and asks them if they like the food. The wolves bow down with respect and thank him, feeling very grateful for sharing such a delicious meal with them. Our guy calls out Elka, who doesn't seem so happy. He acknowledges why Elka is worried, and asks him if he was reminded of his tribe, who lives on the 85th floor of the dungeon. The leader can't hide the secret from the Black Dragon and apologizes to him, but Sejun assures him that he'll see his tribe again soon. Our guy also lets out that the wolves will soon need to go down to the 85th floor for the Blue Moon, and assures Elka that he will provide plenty of fish for his tribe if they help out on the farm. As the wolves are delighted by the generous offer, our guy reminds Teo, the CEO, that they need to catch up on the work at the field and commands the cat to take the lead. While Teo instructs the wolves to follow him to the field, Sejun approaches the Minotaurs and informs them that he needs to go somewhere, asking them to guide him there. Confused, Minotaur 3 inquires where they will be going, and the farmer, with a sneaky grin, reveals that he will get his money back from Captain Ox. Upon hearing the shocking announcement, the Minotaurs, with their mouths wide open, are left flabbergasted by Sejun's impulsive plan against their captain. The next scene takes us to the 90th floor waypoint, where we see the Minotaur warriors feeding themselves with the green onion leaves that the Ox King had stolen from Sejun's farm. They seem to be amazed by the delicious flavor of the green onion leaves. Meanwhile, the captain reflects upon his actions and ruminates that he went to find the missing Minotaurs and followed their traces to the territorial border. As he vaguely remembers the monsters he saw on the field, the king contemplates his sneak attack at the farm. He is baffled yet intrigued by the strange situation and reckons how the crimson grizzly bear and the family of the white farmer bunnies ended up in the place, adding that the farm might belong to them. The captain regrets stealing from the farm as he is a warrior of honor and cannot steal even if he belongs to a tiny monster. He reminds himself that the blue moon will be rising soon, and he will be able to leave the area as the clock will reset. The captain adds that he's the defender of the 99th floor, so he can leave just for an hour. Snapping out of his thoughts, the king decides to pay what he stole from the farm at that hour and negotiate conditions for a quality lead supply for his warriors. He thinks hard and speculates about how he will pay what he owes them, when suddenly light beams from the waypoint. Well, it seems like Farmer Park is on his way to finding more slaves for the farm. The next scene takes us to the cave where the parent and baby bunnies are busy harvesting the green onions, along with our boy Sejun, who instructs them to do as much as possible. Sweltering, our guy asks the queen bee to hold his straw hat. As soon as he is about to get back to work, the admin sends a notification informing him that his occupational XP has increased. While he gets back to work, Sejun harvests 9 ripe magic cherry tomatoes at the same time, and he gets promoted. It also stated that he has now upgraded to level C farmer and that his occupational XP is full. Surprised, he further checks his enhanced occupational traits, which state that he will grow closer to nature, activating his hidden talents. His hidden talent is being a friend of nature, which means that he can now communicate with nonverbal animals and is very close to nature. Unable to believe his hidden talent, our guy calls out to his hubby, the bunny, who answers him back saying, "Yes, Sejun." Flustered, he stumbles on the ground as he understands what the bunny has just said. To make himself believe, he asks the hubby bunny to call out his name once again. In the meantime, the sickle bunny arrives at the spot and asks Uncle Sejun if everything's alright. Upon hearing this, our guy grabs the sickle bunny, smooching off his face. When he asks the sickle bunny to repeat what he said, the bunny gets mad and threatens to scratch his uncle's face with the sickle. Abruptly, Sejun responds to the sickle bunny and tells him that he can't scratch him as he won't tolerate another bald spot. Looking at each other in utter confusion, the daddy bunny and sickle bunny speculate if Sejun understands them, to which our boy nods his head and informs the bunnies that he has obtained a new talent. This confession causes an uproar among the farmer bunnies as they gather around to hear Sejun, who has just announced that he has some big news to tell them. While the wifey bunny asks the hubby if Sejun has eaten something dangerous, our guy assures her that it's nothing like that. The wifey bunny flinched and was left speechless. After that, all the bunnies leap excitedly onto our boy, exclaiming that they have a lot to tell him. He then apologizes to them, saying he couldn't communicate well with them until now. As he seems to be done chatting with the bunnies, his eyes land on the queen bee, who looks excited and asks him if he can understand her too. He pats her on the head and lets out that he understands her very well. Hearing this, the queen bee happily hugs him, and all the other bees join her. After that, Sejun shares the big news with everyone outside the cave. While he puts on the straw hat that Daddy Bunny gives him, a notification comes up. It notifies him that the straw hat of Patrick, which he is wearing, has also leveled up. Realizing that the hat's abilities were upgraded because he got promoted to another level, our guy acquired another skill known as the Growth Promotion skill, which will boost the growth of 10 products for 1 week without side effects for 10 days. Acquiring this incredible skill, Sejun becomes as happy as ever, and an idea flickers in his mind to put this new skill to the best use. Afterward, our guy plants the solar sweet potato stems into the soil at the field. He pats the soil, activates his growth promotion skills, and is notified that solar sweet potato growth will be accelerated for 1 week. Pondering that he was finding the perfect time to plant the solar sweet potatoes outside the cave, he gets concerned about growing the sweet potatoes in the middle of the green onions due to space limitations. All of a sudden, the newly planted solar sweet potatoes begin to stretch and flinch, which worries Sejun and leads him to assume that they are growing faster than the growth promotion allows. However, it occurs that the green onion field harvest energy is brimming over to the sweet potato stems, and the yield will increase by 50% until the harvest ends. Our guy gets lucky, as he attains double benefits from the skill, which leads him to think that he will be able to harvest sweet solar potatoes sooner than expected. Soon after that, he hears a noise from behind him. Turning back, he finds the baby bear leaping towards him, making him stumble on the ground with his plump body. Overjoyed, Bei clings to Sejun, calling him daddy. He excitedly asks him if it's really true that he can understand him, adding that the black bunny told him all about it. Stunned, our poor guy wonders how he has become a father already when he has never dated. After being called a dad, Sejun asks the mama bear if she's okay with Bei calling him daddy. The mama grizzly bear seems more than happy with it and reassures him by telling him that he's reliable and that it's great that Bei likes him. She shows her sincerity by bowing to him. Listening to this, Sejun is delighted to have adopted a giant, adorable son. Now that he understands the baby bear, Bei tells him he's hungry and wants to eat honey, green onions, sweet potatoes, and fish. Bei finally gets to tell his dad everything he wants to eat and lets out that he waited for this moment for so long. Our guy compliments the baby bear for having such a great appetite and announces they will have something special today. He gets all excited and tells Bei about his new crop harvests as he pulls out a bunch of fresh-looking potatoes. The new item appears to be strength potatoes, which are delicious and full of nutrients when consumed. Each potato dissolves 30 grams of body fat and boosts strength by 0.5 for 10 minutes. Sejun prepares a pot full of freshly harvested potatoes to celebrate his new talent and gathers everyone for dinner. Sejun joins the bunnies, minotaurs, grizzly bears, and silver wolves for the feast. Lastly, he adds in his survival diary about more fun things that are about to come. The next scene flashes to the 90th floor of the dungeon, where we see the farmer gang leaving for the waypoint. Bei cries his heart out as he watches his daddy leave without him and insists on staying with him. While our guy asks Teo if he has packed enough green onion leaves, the cat assures him that he has packed tons of them in his rucksack and with the wolves as well. After that, Sejun scolds the baby bear for making a fuss about it and reminds him that he needs to take care of the queen bee and her babies, so he should stop throwing tantrums. The gloomy baby bear mumbles that he will stop throwing tantrums if he promises to come back sooner, and Sejun promises to return as quickly as possible. Elka comes forward and asks the great black dragon for the honor to accompany him through the way. As the minotaurs get ready to assist and guide the way, Sejun, along with Teo and the black warrior bunny, leaps over the wolf. It is revealed that their destination is the 90th floor waypoint, where they will meet the Ox King. Later, they halt at a place that looks like an eerie forest. While the black warrior bunny and Teo shut their eyes because of the dust, the black minotaurs warn Sejun not to associate with the monsters in that territory. The female minotaur tells him that the 99th floor has many territories. Just like he came from the territory of the crimson grizzly bear, they are currently headed to the territory of the minotaur, and this eerie forest belongs to some corrupt monsters. She advises Sejun not to go near there because it's dangerous. Our guy ponders the corrupt monsters and considers asking Aileen about them later. At that moment, a giant orb of mud strikes straight onto Sejun's face, making him fall. While our poor boy tumbles on the ground with his face covered in mud, the wolf and the minotaurs ask him if he's okay. Speculating where the giant orb came from, they witness the oxen feeding on the mud. Watching them, Sejun realizes the oxen are feeding on mud because they have nothing to eat, and that's why they lost it when they saw the green onion leaves. The female minotaur furiously asks the oxen who had thrown mud on him, and that's when one of the oxen moves toward them. He recognizes the two minotaurs escorting Sejun and blabbers about where they have been spending their sweet time together. The obnoxious minotaur asks them where they found these minions, pointing towards Sejun and the wolves. The female minotaur shuts him up by whacking him in the face and smashing him in the mud. While Minotaur number 3 admires her for giving a good smacking, the female Minotaur urges Sejun to meet with the captain as they don't have much time. In the meantime, one of the Minotaur warriors informs the captain that Minotaur 3 and Minotaur 4 have returned along with some strange creatures. At that moment, the two Minotaurs and Sejun arrive at the scene and inform the Ox King that they have returned with some guests from the Crimson Grizzly Bear territory. While the other Minotaur warriors give them deadly stares, Captain Ox feels glad he doesn't have to make the trip himself and welcomes the white farmer bunnies. However, when he looks at Sejun, who is walking towards him, the captain notices that he's not a farmer bunny. The farmer introduces himself as Park Sejun, and the cat on his shoulder introduces himself as Teo, the peddler. After getting to know their names, the king asserts that he has never heard of such a tribe, and thanks him for making the long trip to the waypoint. He thanks Sejun for the green onion leaves and assumes that, with his weak strength, he must be struggling on the 99th floor. Believing that he works for the Crimson Grizzly Bear, the Ox King apprises that he will be happy to rescue him from injustice, adding that he feels delighted to help out the weak monsters. Upon hearing this, our boy confidently clarifies to Captain Ox that he must have been mistaken. Sejun clarifies that he doesn't work for the Crimson Grizzly Bear. Instead, the bear and her cub help him on the farm. Our guy proceeds with his second reason for visiting the captain, revealing that he's here to demand payment for the crops that the king stole from his farm 3 days ago. Knowing that the Minotaur gets frantic when someone accuses them of stealing, King Ox bursts with anger as he gets up from his throne and begins to rumble. Boiling with anger, the ox frantically utters that Sejun is calling the most powerful monster of the 99th a thief and accuses him of stealing. However, our guy is not intimidated by the angry captain and makes a classy comeback when he reminds him that minotaurs are warriors of honor. Instead of getting mortified for what he has done, he is being angry to get it over with. After being humbled by Farmer Park, the king gently informs Sejun that he must have misunderstood. As this happens, the whispers initiate among the minotaurs who think they've eaten stolen leaves. To clear up the air, King Ox explains himself. He concedes that as a captain, he had a limited range of travel as a defender of the waypoint, so the ox had to rush back to his territory as he was running out of time. The king agrees to pay Sejun and asks him what he wishes for. Thinking that it could be a rare item he could wish for, our guy makes an unusual request. He demands that he pay by letting him use the waypoint. Uncertain if the king would agree to such a request, Sejun asks the captain to allow him to use the waypoint to pay back his debt. But to his surprise, the Minotaur King approves of his demand and decides to do whatever the farmer wishes. To save his honor, the captain calls upon Sejun to fulfill his wish. Delighted, he climbs the rock to stride toward the waypoint and contemplates about finally getting to leave the tower. Astonished to see the glowing waypoint, our guy approaches his hand to touch it. Finally touching the crystal rock, he retrieves the waypoints from other floors. However, his world gets upside down when he reads the notification, revealing that he's unable to move floors because he has not saved any waypoints outside of the 99th floor. The Ox King grasps the problem immediately and lets out that the waypoint is not working because Sejun was not born in the tower. He continues to explain that those who come from outside the tower must register the waypoints from each floor. Only then are they qualified to travel between the floors. The captain asserts that this rule is more like a conditional invitation to the tower for non-natives. He adds that his only registered waypoint is from this floor, which makes our guy unqualified to travel between the other floors. As soon as he hears the harsh truth, on the verge of a breakdown, our boy clenches his fist and loses all hope of getting out of the tower. Feeling devastated, Sejun sits and stares at the waypoint with desperate eyes while Teo tries to comfort him. Eventually, Sejun responds that he knew he couldn't move downstairs when he found out it was the 99th floor. But when he confirmed that he could not get out of the tower, his courage and hope, which he once coveted, were shattered. The Ox King feels bad for Sejun and claims that he had permitted him to use the waypoint, which he accepted, so he is no longer indebted to him. As the captain continues his talk, Sejun says he will propose a deal. Surprised, the captain flinches and gets infuriated about him proposing a deal to a warrior. Our guy commands Teo to open his rucksack. As he stretches out his rucksack, a mound of leaves begins to fall like a cascade. The downpour of the green onion leaves creates mayhem amongst the Minotaur as they witness the delicious leaves in front of their eyes. Baffled, the king asks Farmer Park about this pile of leaves, on which our guy announces that it's a kind gesture from their neighbors, more like a handshake of friendship. Sejun further elucidates his deal with the captain and reveals that he's expanding his farmland and needs a lot of help. He entices the deal by adding that the Minotaurs could eat greens like these for every single meal if they have a larger field. That said, he flaps a wink to the captain and asks him if he's ready for the deal. The scene then flips to the crimson grizzly cub eagerly waiting for his daddy. He sits there in sadness while the queen bee hovers over his head. After a while, he notices someone emerging through the smoke. Sejun, riding on the silver wolf, appears to have returned from the waypoint. The baby bear rushes towards him out of happiness, and Sejun hugs him, asking how he has been. The baby bear tells him that he has been a good boy and didn't cry while he was gone, adding that he didn't take long and returned early as promised. Meanwhile, Daddy Bunny asks Sejun about his visit to the waypoint, and our guy informs him that it went well. He grabs everyone's attention and introduces the farmer gang to the new workers, the Minotaurs, who are impatiently waiting to work in the field. Sejun explains that the Minotaurs will help them mend the field, and the Ox King has agreed to let them use the barren field however they want. While the Minotaurs seem to be excited to use their muscles, Bay looks at the masculine Minotaurs with admiration. The new Minotaur lets out that they have heard about the baby bear from number 3, saying that Bay is a bigger guy than he imagined. Elated, the baby bear tells the new workers that he's best friends with Minotaur 3, adding that he showed him around the field. Bay instructs the new Minotaurs to follow him so he can show them around too. Looking at the baby bear, our guy thinks he is such a good boy. Sejun informs the farmer bunnies to prepare the food for the working oxen, while Teo, who's dozing off on Elka's back, asks for his treats. The next scene takes us to the 99th floor waypoint, where the Minotaurs are playing rock, paper, scissors to choose their turns to work for the other day on the field. They seem exhilarated to work on the farm, as one of the Minotaurs asks if they have decided on the 10 workers and urges them to be prepared to set out for work tomorrow. While the Ox King peeks at the Minotaurs, who are as optimistic as ever, he asserts that he has never seen them so energetic in a while. One of the minotaurs standing beside the captain asks him if their territory will be covered in green grass instead of mud if they keep cultivating the field. The king affirms the minotaur by saying yes and lets out that the 99th floor will soon get into action. Later, at the Crimson Grizzly's bear territory, the poisonous honeybees pour the honey into the bottles, which already seem full. Sejun says that the bottles Teo had bought are already filled and offers the honey bottles to the baby bear. He instructs him not to finish it too quickly, and Bae feels delighted after getting his honey. Pleased with the amount of honey produced by the honeybees, Sejun thought that the bees might produce less honey because of the blue moon preparation. Concluding the reason, he asks the queen bee if she has grown her colony larger, and she joyfully nods her head. When the Crimson Grizzly Bear asks the mama bear if she's headed deep into the forest, the mama bear responds that the blue moon will be rising soon, so she needs to go. Sejun decides to give her plenty of food for their way, and a few more bottles of honey for the baby bear too. Later, the wolf leader informs Sejun, addressing him as the Black Dragon, that they will head downstairs on the 85th floor for the blue moon preparation. Our guy assures Elka not to stress out, as he has prepared food for them as well. He explains that the Black Bunny has been working hard to fetch tons of fish from the Sea of Dimensions. As he shows them the pile of fish riled up on the ground, the sight leaves the silver wolves astonished and admired. The wolves respectfully kneel, thanking Sejun and the Black Bunny for the food. While our boy gets concerned about how they are going to carry a large amount of food, the wolves pull out their rucksacks, uttering that their rucksack doesn't have as much capacity as Teo's, but they can still fit plenty. Tossing all the food inside their rucksacks, the wolves and the Crimson Grizzly Bears go on their way to prepare for the blue moon, saying goodbye to Sejun. As he waves them goodbye, our guy also plans to prepare for the blue moon. In the meantime, the admin appears and asks him about his long face, assuming he's worried about the field. While the Black Bunny leaves to help his mom and dad, Sejun lets out that he's getting anxious about the blue moon rising soon, but Aileen assures him not to worry about it. She compliments herself by saying she took charge of defeating the monsters in the last blue moon, telling him to believe in her. It is revealed to us that the monsters become violent when exposed to the blue moon's light. The boy further narrates that he thought about it a lot when Minotaur 3 destroyed the field during the blue moon. Fields being exposed increases the chances of the crops being destroyed by monsters. He shares his problem with Aileen, who assures him that she will keep the field safe. Yanking out his flashback, Sejun thought about it and wasn't sure how exactly she would secure the field. But then he remembers who Aileen truly is, admitting that she's the great black dragon he saw in the first blue moon. Delighted, Sejun says that he counts on her, and Aileen, the great black dragon, assures her farmer that he can plant as many crops as he wishes. Just after that, Aileen considers returning to work and prepares for the blue moon. She opens the door and climbs the stairs, reaching a magical place. It appears to be the tower's manager section on the 99th floor of the dungeon. Aileen comes out and takes some fresh air. Soon after that, she steps up to the place that somewhat looks like a magic operating machine. The next day, as the blue moon is just about to begin at the cave, Sejun lights up the fire. He sees Teo kissing off the baby bunnies as he can't believe they will soon grow up, and he lets out tears of joy because he feels proud of them. Sejun thanks the cat for being a caring uncle and instructs him to return inside his rucksack before the blue moon rises. While the cat tells him to take good care of the kiddos, our guy hands out a queen bee's cocoon, asking Teo to hide it in his rucksack. As Teo is surprised by another queen bee's larva, our guy trusts the cocoon with him and tells him that the queen bee handed it to him this morning, adding that they keep having cocoons because of the growing size of her hive. Feeling overwhelmed by welcoming more beehives, Teo assures him that he will keep the cocoon safe in his soft fur, just like last time. Eventually, the blue moon rises, and the baby bunnies transform into wild monsters because of the blue moon's energy. Shortly, the shrieking gets louder, and our protagonist, hiding in the corner of the cave, watches the baby bunnies getting wild, saying that he is still not used to their transition. In the meantime, Sejun hears a piercing roar from above the cave and wonders if there's a monster near the fields. Thinking that he hadn't heard from Aileen yet, our guy catches a glimpse of the baby bunnies who haven't switched from their monster phase for some reason. While he reckons that the babies turned into white bunnies pretty quickly the last time, he gets terrified as the wild bunnies begin to get out of control. Suddenly, the frantic bunnies try to leap toward him. As they are about to attack him, the great black dragon appears, gliding around the blue moon. On the other hand, we see that the branch monster, inhabitant of the 99th floor, has come to destroy Sejun's field. As the branch monster is about to trample the field, Aileen, the great black dragon, scares him away as she soars above the field to protect it, spreading her giant wings. Aileen seems proud of her heroic action and reveals that her grandpa made the magic tool for her during the blue moon because she can't leave the administrator's section. The black dragon created an adult vision of herself through the system. This allows remote control, and she can go as far as the 99th floor. However, this illusion tool can only reach under the clouds and disappears when it swoops to the ground. While controlling her magic tool, she ponders about Sejun and what he will think of her looks. As her vision soars through the sky, she decides to make a few more laps until the blue moon ends. Meanwhile, Sejun speculates that the monsters grew hushed after Aileen appeared, and a bright light flashed behind him. It turns out that the baby bunnies have finally transitioned into grown-up farmer bunnies. He immediately grabs the grown-up bunnies and squeezes them tightly. Tears of joy start pouring out of his eyes as he thinks something might have gone wrong with them during the blue moon. As Sejun hugs the bunnies, our guy peeks at the plentiful blue moon crops in the field and decides to harvest them. After an extended harvest, he prepares a pot of steamed blue moon sweet potatoes. While Sejun pours out the beautifully cooked sweet potatoes, he reveals that they've harvested 13 cherry tomatoes, 3 potatoes, and 7 sweet potatoes with blue moon energy. Some are solar energy sweet potatoes, and some are mighty sweet potatoes. He then offers Aileen the bowl of blue moon crops and advises her to cool down the cooked sweet potatoes as they are steaming hot. The admin thanks Sejun for the food and says he can also count on her for the future blue moon. Accepting the crops through the screen, Aileen seems to be having a comfy time after the tiring work. She feels good when she sees the blue moon crops and tosses a sweet potato into her mouth, which she thinks can cure her dragon heart. She eats the sweet potatoes and focuses on her mana flow. That's when her dragon heart starts beating, and unlike last time, she feels the stable magic current. Happy to see her dragon heart getting better gradually, she gets to know about the honey-dipped sweet potatoes, a forgotten dish of the tower that has been restored. Aileen witnesses her human farmer enjoying the honey-dipped sweet potatoes without her. She gets jealous as she eats the boring regular ones, while Sejun seems to enjoy the better version of the sweet potatoes. But then she stumbles upon the notification, which shows that the admin can reward whoever has restored the forgotten dish with special occupational skills. She taps to see the unique occupational ability, and is delighted to see the skill that looks like the perfect occupational reward for a farmer. On the other hand, our boy prepares the sweet potatoes by dipping them into the honey. It appears that the honey-dipped sweet potatoes with blue moon energy are marinated in honey and increase magic by 0.3 permanently when consumed. As Sejun offers the honey-dipped sweet potato to the grown-up bunnies to eat first, one of the young bunnies hops forward and stops everyone from eating as he reminds them that their father said to let Uncle Sejun eat the blue moon crops first because he's weaker. Upon hearing this, our poor guy apologizes for being a weak uncle and sadly chews on his sweet potato because even the young bunnies know that he's short on magic power. While the grown-up bunnies prefer regular sweet potatoes, our boy is mesmerized by the delicious honey-dipped sweet potato and its almost addictive sweet flavor. At that moment, he receives a notification that Sejun has restored a forgotten dish in the tower. He gets confused about retrieving a forgotten dish, thinking that all he did was dip the sweet potato in honey. When the administrator gets proud of his accomplishment, she sends him a quest. The quest is to offer honey-dipped sweet potatoes to the admin with a reward of 1 occupational ability. Our guy gets confused, saying he literally just dipped a potato into the honey, but he accepts the quests because he is curious to see the occupational reward. After pouring the honey on the sweet potatoes, he marinates the regular sweet potatoes and serves them to Aileen. Sejun receives the occupational reward as a cooking ability that allows him to register recipes. He isn't surprised after looking at his honey-dipped sweet potato recipe and thinks that he should take cooking as his second job due to his incredible cooking skills. But before that, he tells the grown-up bunnies to help him make the honey-dipped sweet potatoes so everyone can eat them. In his dungeon survival diary, our boy adds about the 8th blue moon, which passed peacefully. The next scene takes us to the branch monster who appeared near Sejun's field during the blue moon. As the branch monster makes its way to the western woods on the 99th floor, suddenly a tree branch comes in his way, causing the beast to trip. Suddenly, another monster who appears to be a tree with his eyes flashing red traps the beast into its branches and swallows up the branch monster. It is revealed to us that the branch monster gets engulfed by the terrifying corrupt monsters that reside in the western woods, and there appear to be many of them. After that, we are taken back to the cave where Sejun is eating the sweet potatoes along with the farmer bunny. The next scene switches to the 85th floor of the dungeon, where we see the wolves' tribe. It occurs to be a delightful day, as Elka distributes the food he'd bought from the 99th floor among the children of his tribe. After providing the food to his tribe, Elka, the chief leader, heads back to the 99th floor, but his wife tells him to say goodbye to the kids when they wake up. But Elka refuses and asserts that he now serves the Great Black Dragon, so he can't wait much longer, adding that he will return soon. Soon after, the Silver Wolf trio departs and makes their way to the 99th floor. Later, we witness little gray rabbits running for their lives at the Pathway Village as someone seems to chase them. While they run as fast as they can, one of the rabbits gets snagged by a wolf. It turns out that a bunch of wolves are chasing after the rabbits. Meanwhile, Elka also happens to be at the pathway village and hears a noise nearby. The brown wolf clenches one of the gray rabbits into his claws and tramples on one with his feet. Addressing the bunnies as slaves, the wolf captures them and asks if they are trying to escape, adding that he had to climb many floors just to find them. While the other brown wolves capture the gray rabbits, they threaten the bunnies by saying they will have a rabbit barbecue as punishment for the rabbits acting smart and thinking they could outrun the wolves. As one of the wolves opens his jaw to kill the gray bunny, someone strikes him on the head. It turns out to be Elka, who had just saved the gray bunny from getting eaten and whacked the wolf on the head. After a good smacking, one of the brown wolves recognizes Elka and questions why he is attacking them when they are just to find some runaway slaves. The brown wolf threatens him by saying that Greed won't be happy if he gets to know about all this, to which Elka makes it clear that he doesn't care about the pig and warns him to get away from the bunnies, or else he will slit open his throat with his fangs. As Elka furiously stares at him and grits his teeth, he manages to scare the wolves away. In the meantime, other members join Elka and ask him what to do about the bunnies. While poor gray rabbits tremble with fear, the wolf leader decides to take the bunnies with them because the brown wolves might chase them again, adding that the bunnies might be helpful to the black dragon. Later, Sejun proudly makes a big announcement at the cave and reveals that he finally made it to magic level 10 after eating the blue moon crops. Teo stiffly stares at him and tells him that it's nothing to be impressed about. Pissed off, our guy responds that there's more to that and announces that now he can eat the inner core of the giant electric eel. Listening to this, Teo lets out a big fat yawn and doesn't seem interested in Sejun's blabbering as the cat asks him if he can go to bed. But our guy, eager to obtain new skills, instructs the cat to check his skills first. He finally eats the inner core and finds it tastes delicious, similar to orange soda. After consuming the inner core, he gets rewarded with the lighting skill level 1. However, the admin informs Sejun that he cannot use the skill because he severely lacks the required magic level, adding that the rain and thunderstorm features will remain locked. With the lighting skill level 1, he can only create clouds for rain and thunder. As soon as he learns about this, our guy loses his cool and questions the admin why she didn't tell him about this sooner. Poor Sejun gets low-spirited as he thinks that there's no point in making clouds when he can't even make thunder or rain. However, our guy tries his new skill and pulls out his hand to create clouds. As a whirl of clouds forms, our boy successfully produces a little black cloud that hovers above his head. While Sejun peeks at his little cloud with disappointment, the fellow farmer monsters applaud him for creating a cloud. Our poor protagonist sinks into the deep, feeling shattered after using his magic to create a little cloud. Watching him get discouraged, the grown-up bunnies get back to work, but Teo takes advantage of the moment and comforts Sejun with words, asserting that he's still the president no matter how weak he is. Teo pats his hand and tries to appease him with fake compassion and a cunning grin. Our boy, who already seems depressed, asks Teo if he's trying to make him feel better or worse. That's when Bae comes and tells him he's the best dad as he tries to make shade for them, uttering that he will make an enormous cloud soon enough. As Sejun thanks the baby bear for making him feel better and cuddles him, Teo, relaxing on Sejun's lap, mumbles that he doesn't like the sun getting into his eyes and asks him to move the cloud towards him. Annoyed by the peddler cat, who seems to be enjoying his downfall, the silver wolves arrive at the scene and greet Sejun, addressing him as the Great Black Dragon. As he greets them back, Elka takes out the gray bunnies that he had bought with him. Shocked by the situation, our guy asks him about the gray bunnies, who seem frightened as they shake with fear, pleading not to kill them. Sejun notices the gray bunnies have scars everywhere and asks Elka where he found them. At that moment, the wifey and the hubby stared at the gray bunnies with astonishment, uttering if they were alive. The gray bunnies seem to recognize the farmer bunny couple, and they all clamp together in a hug while Sejun and Teo look at them in confusion, assuming they might know each other. After the bunny reunion, the farmer gang shockingly stares at the gray bunnies while they stuff their faces with food in haste, as if they have been starving for days. The wifey bunny tells them to eat slowly and offers them water, and the gray bunny appreciates the Great Black Dragon's kindness. As he tells the bunny to call him Sejun, Elka addresses him as, "My dear Great Black Dragon," which seems like such a mouthful. For this reason, he commands Elka to call by his name as they are a family now, and the wolves are left in awe. While the cat clings to Sejun and asks for a treat, our guy ponders about the gray bunnies and notices they all have vocational skills. The three are the gray artist bunny, the gray architect bunny, and the gray woodworker bunny. Our guy hears the gray bunny's story about how they escaped the farm where greed exploited them, moved up the tower where they encountered the brown wolves, and started chasing them to make them runaway slaves. But then Elka comes to their rescue and saves the bunnies. The sickle bunny provides a blanket to the gray bunny, while Sejun interrogates the crying rabbit about which floor they came from. The gray bunny reveals that they came from the 55th floor. Upon hearing this, Daddy Bunny abruptly leaps towards the gray bunny and asks him if they were on the 55th floor the entire time. Shaking the gray bunny like a ketchup bottle, the farmer bunny begins to bombard him with questions about the farm and what happened to the kingdom, their majesties, the princess, and the monsters. Sejun tells the hubby bunny to slow down and asks him what he's talking about. That's when the farmer bunny opens up the story about their red ribbon kingdom on the 55th floor they used to live in. The bunny narrates that their kingdom was once a land of peace and harmony decades ago, where the bunnies grew nutritious food on fertile land. They acquired beautiful architecture and culture, and sufficient self-defense helped them live in serenity. However, one day, their kingdom is attacked by shadows, or an apocalypse in an unpremeditated attack that even the warrior bunnies cannot fight back. Eventually, the kingdom falls apart and doesn't survive. Returning to the present scene, the farmer bunny continues to share his tragic story, asserting that the kingdom fell apart instantly when the unknown enemy attacked, and that's how their king, queen, and princess went missing amid all the chaos. This left the bunnies with no choice but to escape and scatter to survive the monster's attack, as they also had lost their leaders who would have protected them. The daddy bunny tells them they had to settle in the cave while searching for a new place. Upon hearing this, Sejun figures out why the bunnies moved to the 99th floor. It was strange that they settled in an environment that wasn't suitable for them, but their misfortune doesn't end here. When the farmer bunny thinks that the monsters have devoured the entire 55th floor, fortunately, some survivors are left. However, when the bunnies, including the farmer bunny family, were waiting to be killed after failing to reach the pathway, strangely, all the monsters disappeared. After that, they found themselves standing before Greed on that destroyed land, who ruled over many boars and called himself the Great Landlord, dominating the 55th floor. Greed transformed the Red Ribbon Kingdom into an industrial farm dedicated to food production and enslaved the bunnies. As the bunnies continue with their sob story, Sejun stops them for a break and feels terrible for them, as they had to endure all this. He then asks the black bunny to share his room with the gray bunnies for the time being. While the black bunny takes them to the cave, our guy speculates that Greed is the same guy who was looking for the straw hat, on which Elka agrees, and exposes that he's an influential figure because of the wealth that he accumulates from food production. The silver wolf realizes that Greed is a pathetic creature as he took advantage of the bunny's unfortunate situation, feeling ashamed of himself for working under him. While they are talking, Teo reveals that most of the food allocated throughout the tower through the Peddlers Association comes from Greed's farm. Frightened after knowing how obnoxious Greed, the landlord, is, our guy asks Elka about the chances of the pig landlord making it to the 99th floor. That's when Elka unfolds that there are fewer chances for the landlord to make it to this floor, uttering that most mercenaries are cowards and would not want to come to the 99th floor no matter how much they are paid. Finally, Sejun breathes a sigh of relief and lets out that Greed won't be able to come after the bunnies. The next scene takes us to the Greed's castle on the 55th floor, the former Red Ribbon Kingdom, where we see the boar freaking out when the brown wolves inform him of Elka's betrayal and how he took the bunny slaves they were chasing. The brown wolf reveals that Elka attacked them and shows him the injury. The high and mighty Greed asserts that Elka was never a trustworthy slave to begin with, and believes that he will be back begging for food once the tower runs out of food. The evil pig Greed then asks one of his slaves about the preparations. His subordinate then reports to him that they are sending away food peddlers to cut down on the distribution as much as possible, adding that the demonic tower and the Peddler Association are making a fuss about it, but things are under control. Happy to hear the report. The evil landlord sees it as another opportunity to take control of the tower just like he monopolized the 55th floor. Laughing hysterically, the greedy boar reveals his corrupt plans to take the reins of the whole tower and will not just settle on one kingdom. The scene then flips back to the cave, where Sejun stretches himself after a nice sleep and wakes Teo up, who wants to nap more. Walking towards the pond to wash his face, our guy witnesses a sink with a cup. He instantly falls in love with it, as now it will be easier for him to wash his hair and take showers. Our guy who's soaking his hair gets called by Teo, who shows him something spectacular made by the gray bunnies. It appears to be a real stove where the farmer bunnies are cooking. Looking at the actual stove, our guy gets mesmerized when he sees the low-lying table and the real wooden utensils. Teo excitedly shows his bowl, which was made by Squeeby, Squeamy, and Squeary, and has his paw print on it. When Teo asks about these weird names, the cat reveals that they are the names of the gray bunnies, and they keep building stuff for them to show their gratitude. As the gray bunny makes a sickle bunny a new blue headband, Sejun approaches them. The bunnies appreciate him for letting them stay, and add that they want to help in any way they can. Amazed by the things built by the gray bunnies, Sejun holds Squeeby's hand and asks him if he needs a job. Later, Sejun announces at the cave that Squeeby, Squeamy, and Squeary will be staying with them from now on. While all the bunnies welcome them, our guy gets excited as their farm will take another adaptation because of the new skilled members. The gray bunnies assure him that they will build everything they can. That's when our guy instructed them to build new houses for the bunnies because their space is getting limited with the little bunnies growing up, who will need their own space in the future. Our guy contemplates that the kiddos will be kicked out of the house soon and doesn't expect them to pull off a construction project. While the houses are being built for the bunnies, Teo also demands his home, but Sejun reminds him that he has a rucksack. Hearing Teo's demand, the gray bunny tells him he can build a cat tower for him and asks Sejun if he owns a house. After that, Sejun points towards his bed of green onions, saying he sleeps here. Peeking at his green onion bed, the gray bunny insists on making a house for him. Wondering if there would be enough space to build a house for him in the cave, the gray bunny plans to make his house outside the cave because there is more construction material, like wood, and Sejun happily agrees. Our boy considers it and asserts that he spends most of the time on the field outside the cave. He adds that he has minotaurs, a crimson grizzly bear, and silver wolves around him, which makes him feel safe on the field. Sejun, who couldn't refuse the intriguing offer, asks the gray bunnies what they need to build the house. The gray bunny tells him that it would be great to have ingredients for the bricks and asks him if the 99th floor holds any fine sand or clay. Knowing where to find the clay, Sejun and the gray bunnies head to the waypoint, accompanied by Elka. As they reach the waypoint, our guy asks the bunnies if this soil is suitable for making the bricks. The gray bunnies inspect the soil of the Minotaur territory and respond that the soil is perfect because it holds a good moisture level. Curious, the Ox King questions Sejun about the clay and what he needs it for, adding that Minotaurs eat them. Farmer Park then proposes a new deal to the king, muttering that Squeamy will teach them how to make bricks. He will pay them with green onion leaves if they agree to create and distribute the bricks. Before Sejun closes the deal, the king immediately agrees and commands the Minotaurs to stop eating mud because they don't want a brick shortage. Soon after, things get pretty occupied on the field as the crimson grizzly bears help pull out the trees for wood. The Minotaurs plow the field with tremendous strength, and the white farmer bunnies plant and water the field. Later, Elka and the baby bear start playing around. As our guy offers the honey to the baby bear, the silver wolf also seems to crave some honey, so our guy offers him a bottle. Sejun then returns to the grind and harvests 15 solar sweet potatoes, getting plenty of rewards for the plentiful harvests. As it gets too hot on the field, he uses his lighting skills to create rainy clouds over the area so that he won't get sunburned. While Sejun ruminates about getting a durable storage space in addition to a house, Teo approaches him. Asking Teo if he's headed downstairs, the cat tells him he is about to go down, adding that he brought tons of cherry tomatoes from the cave. Sejun asks him if he has enough space in his rucksack and suggests Teo take some detoxifying green onions, as some hunters might need them. He reveals that they've got a massive yield after breeding them. Teo decides to take 100 green onions and ponders if they will sell well. Assuming that Sejun has never been wrong, he sniffs the detoxifying green onion. Finding the unpleasant smell, Teo quickly tosses the green onions in his rucksack as Sejun calls him over for dinner. Without noticing, Teo mistakenly plucks out a batch of sweet potatoes in haste and keeps it in the rucksack, rushing back so that no one can eat his lunch. The next scene switches to the 67th floor of the dungeon, where a lizard man is hunting its prey, a frog. The lizard man shoots the frog with an arrow and kills it. As he is about to chew on its prey, a red locust settles on the dead frog and sucks its blood. Watching another target on the frog, the lizard man grabs the red locust and flings it into its mouth. While the lizard man chews on its delicious prey, he catches a glimpse of something in the dark woods. It turns out that thousands of red locusts bolt towards the lizard man, leaving no trace of him.
If you want to see how far this survival diary goes, hit follow. New entries every week.